We're back with more Chaos Head Noah. Um, so, God, this game makes me so nervous. Okay, so I actually found out something about the game that I didn't really know about. I went on the Steam discussions because I wanted to see. Well, how do I explain it? Well, I avoided like spoiler shit, right? But I was kind of curious about like what people were like speaking about with the game. And one thing that I saw that came up pretty quickly is that there is a fan translation patch. I think it was called the Community of Zero patch, and apparently, apparently it's basically considered the real definitive version of the game. It has well, this is what the people were talking about, like better localization. Um, there are like certain scenes, I guess, where there's text in the image, but it's not translated. But they translate it in the fan patch. Um, One of the most interesting things though is that apparently, when the game was originally like coming, because it used to be like I think it was like locked in Japan. It didn't get out of Japan. But when they tried to bring it like basically overseas, and especially they wanted to bring it to I think it was the Switch and maybe the PlayStation. I don't know, but I know they said that the Switch they wanted to put on the Switch, and Steam. Apparently, they gave them a hard time, and they said no because of like some content in the game, and especially Nintendo that usually they can be pretty hard up, I guess, on what they accept. So apparently, uh, Mages and Spike Chunsoft they had to edit the game and take out like some content or whatever to make it to basically lower the age rating so that like Nintendo and Steam would find it acceptable, and then they would give the green light to have it on their platforms. So that made me a little a little relieved, I guess. But at the same time, it's kind of it's kind of interesting how so basically because I don't have the game patched, people are saying that I'm going through it like the unoptimized, I guess, version. So, but here's the thing with that. This game already is making me nervous with streaming it. And usually, like a rule of thumb when it comes to streaming on Twitch is that if there's a category that you can select, for the game, then it's fine, right? But I'm wondering if the category that they have could be tied to like the acceptable version for like Nintendo and Steam. So it's like if I download the patch and then play it, would that technically be breaching like terms of service in some way? And could I potentially is that like a bannable thing? Uh I don't know, maybe. It would basically have to mean that somebody really wants to report it. But I kind of want to err on the side of caution when it comes to this. So I am not going to use the patch for this game. I'm gonna play it vanilla. Um, what I could do is, I guess, after I go through it and I might try to get all the achievements, on stream and stuff. After all that, then maybe I will download it and then like I'll do a recording. Like I won't stream it, but maybe I'll do like a recording of me looking at like the new stuff that the patch opens, and then I could do like maybe a reaction. And I could, if I'm doing it like a recording, then I can like if something I think is like really bad, because it's gonna go up on YouTube, right? So if there's something that's like really bad, I could like cover it, so it won't show up on the video, but you'll get to see my reaction to what's going on. So it would because apparently, and this is why it's kind of crazy, this story. Apparently, there is one particular scene. Now, I guess if you know what it is already, if you've played this game and you have the patch downloaded and you already went through it all, you probably know what it is. But allegedly, there is one scene that got removed, that the patch brings back, and apparently, it's like really important to not just the game's narrative, but to the greater narrative of the science adventure series and like future games. So to me, that's kind of fucking crazy. That is something that's that important, and yet they felt like they had to take it out to appease Nintendo. So that's kind of like really crazy to me. Like they really want it, which I get it. The Switch is like a really popular system, and they want to try to get as many people like into it as possible. Like I get it. I don't blame them for that. But that's still kind of nuts to me that it's like considered such an important part of the overall like narrative of the game, and yet they had to take it out so that Nintendo would give them the green light. So, but it also makes me nervous. It makes me really fucking nervous about what it is. So that's why I'm thinking I'm just gonna go through it. We're gonna go through it vanilla on stream. Gonna do whatever, and then I can try doing the patch later, and then maybe I'll like record it myself. It won't be on stream. I'll just do a recording. I'll block anything that I think needs to be blocked, and I'll upload that onto YouTube as well. So that's kind of like the plan that I'm gonna go with. So, with that out of the way, what have we're still in chapter 1, Eyes in Eyes. Um, I'm still trying to figure out this whole delusion trigger thing, but it kind of seems like just because something is considered green and something is considered red might not actually mean like a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, I guess depending on your perspective, it might. But when I picked red on, when I picked green because his sister was there, I assumed that the green would be okay, and the red was the really bad one. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything fucking bad or crazy going on with the sister. So I picked green because I'm like, this is definitely gonna have to be the safer one. And then it turned into it turned into like a fucking creepy ass uh, hentai dojinshi of siblings like indirect kissing, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? That was the green one? I'm like, what the hell is the red one then? So it's just because it they call it positive, it might not actually mean that it's a good thing. It might just be, I don't know. I don't even know what I would call it. But I do have three options I can do. I can, when it comes up, I can go with the green, I can go with the red, which those apparently are the delusions that come into play. Or I don't do anything, which is a neutral thing, which means I guess there is no delusion. Like I guess that's what it would mean, I assume. So I'm writing it down. I got the first two that I did was a red and a green. initially I picked the red because that guy, that playboy, he was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the alleyway and see a dead fucking body?" And I was like, "Fuck no, I don't." So I picked red because I thought that would mean no. I didn't go with him, but we still saw something fucked up anyway. So like, who the hell knows? But how about how about we jump into it? So we got a also a some kind of stalker. That seems like a girl in the same academy uniform as him, and that other girl who allegedly killed that guy in the alleyway. So we'll see what that's about too. Guys, this game is actually like making me nervous, but we're gonna go through it. Okay. I left the cafe and hurried back to the base. I'd gotten too scared to stay. I wanted to go home as fast as possible, but the streets were crowded with people, and I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. I was starting to feel sick. I hated crowds. It felt like everyone was laughing at me. The crosswalk turned red, so I had to stop. I took a quick look around. There was no sign of girl A. So I think this stairway actually looks very familiar. I think it's probably the same one that we see in Steins Gate. I'm specifically talking about the one. Well, actually, it might be more than one scene, but I remember it when we were dealing with shit. What was her name? It was the girl with the pink hair. I don't. Fuck. It's been so long since I played it. The girl with the pink hair and like doing her whole thing. I think it was like there and one of the endings with her. I think this was. I think this was it. Dogen Zaka. Was that it? It might be. As I headed up Dogenzaka Hill, walking got a lot easier. Usually I chose to take the back streets where there weren't as many people. But after what happened 2 days ago, I decided to take the main streets instead. I came to another red light and looked around again, but there was no sign of girl A. Maybe the person I'd seen at cafe was someone else after all. I relaxed a little, relieved, and turned around. Okay. Okay. Do I do a delusion or not? Um maybe I'll go neutral this time. I took a step back in shock. There on the other side of the crosswalk, standing with the other pedestrians waiting to cross, was the girl. Shit, do I do it or not? Uh fuck. Uh like I literally have no clue which one. I don't even know if it means a good or bad anything. It could be a bad delusion or it could be a good delusion. Well, negative or positive. Um you know what? I'm going to go neutral. I want to go neutral this time. And her eyes behind her glasses were locked dead onto me. Her eyes were intense, as if she was trying to send some kind of message. Okay, neutral. I picked neutral. Okay. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. It was like I was paralyzed. Suddenly, her lips moved. She was trying to say something. But the noise from the crowd was so loud I couldn't hear it. I strained my eyes to see what she was saying. Who? Oh gosh, she's doing the thing. Whose eyes are those? My hair stood on end. Impossible. I was imagining things. I didn't know how to read lips. There was no way that was right. I shook my head and forced myself to look away. It was clear that she'd said something at least. No matter what it was, doing that to a guy she'd never met was creepy as hell. I needed to stay away from her. I needed to run. I needed to run while I could. Run! I forced my timid brain into action and ran as fast as I could. I ran in the opposite direction from her and down a side street I saw. I collided with something and fell on the ground hard, hitting my shoulder. I gasped in agony as pain raced through my whole body. I couldn't tell what had happened. It was all I could do to sit up. Oh, damn. When I looked, I saw there was a large scooter in the middle of the street that I'd knocked over. I must have collided with it. I gritted my teeth and tried to force myself to stand up, but I couldn't feel any strength in my legs. I didn't think anything was broken, but
だ、大丈夫ですか？
oh god, did she follow us? Girl A was there. How did she catch up? She must have caught up to me at some point. She was looking down on me, worried.
な、な、
What the hell was going on? Who was this woman? My body wouldn't move. I was too scared. I didn't know what to do. It was too late now, but I regretted not taking the train to Shinsen.
怪我してませんか？
Her voice was timid and hesitant. Was she trying to act worried to get me to let my guard down? You're not going to fool me. I won't let any 3D girls fool me.
なんなんだよ。え？ついてくるなよ。僕に何の用だ。
I love how it said that he ran and went down a side street, but we're literally right back where we started. It's like, did he actually run that far? Or did he try to run and then he fell over and then she just walked across? On, you know, I'm saying, man, like, this guy is like a really unreliable narrator. He must have thought in his mind that he ran further than he did. But I'm wondering if he just turned around and then fell over, knocked into the scooter, didn't even run that far, and that's how she was able to catch up to him so fast. I yelled at her. I still couldn't stand up, so I crawled away from her. If I didn't put some distance between us, I was afraid she might pull a knife on me. That terrible sight came back to me again and again, and I kept feeling like it was going to happen to me, too. She seemed hurt.
えっと、えっと、あの、あなたが急に走り出して様子を見に来たら倒れてたので心配で。でも、今は用事とかあるわけじゃないんですが、その、えっと、
Don't have anything to talk about? You don't have anything to talk to me about? What does that mean?
じゃあ、なんで付きまとってくるんだ。それは、えっと。
She was stammering. It was really suspicious.
私、クスノキ、ユアって言います。
Yua Kusunoki. I'm probably not going to remember that. I hadn't asked, but she introduced herself anyway.
実は、あなたのこと、一目見て、なんとなく存在が気になって、それで、つい。
So you started stalking me? The girl Yua was staring at the ground as she talked.
ごめんなさい。
She bowed. Impossible, that was my honest reaction. Now that I got a clear look at her, this Yua girl was pretty cute, I'll admit that. But that doesn't mean I could believe it. Bro, all these girls look like mostly the same. A 3D girl interested in me? What kind of H game scenario was that? That had never happened in my entire life. It sounded to me like an obvious lie. Did she think this would make me happy? Especially when she'd been acting like a stalker a moment ago? Maybe if she was 2D, it might work, but a 3D girl like that was just a weirdo. Scary. I felt really embarrassed just being here, too. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. 3D girls were just the worst. Even talking to one made you nervous. Made you nervous, because you're a loser.
僕は三次元に興味はないよ。
Yeah, he's he's jumping the gun way too fucking early.
いや、め、め、め、
You stuttering? I tried to say something harsh but hesitated. But I knew if I didn't say it, she'd keep stalking me. I didn't want that.
迷惑だよ。つきまとわないでよ。
My god, what an asshole.
すいません。
She looked sad. Did she really feel bad about it? Maybe? No, I couldn't let her fool me. I couldn't believe in any 3D person. I only believed in 2D, nothing else. I could trust Seidatan a lot more than I could trust her.
もうついてこないでね。僕帰るから。
I forced myself to stand up as I stammered out the words. My whole body still hurt, especially my shoulder. I could barely move it, and every so often I'd feel a dull ache from it. You know, this is probably from all the soda and the junk that he eats. So he's like super fragile. Like he drinks there's nothing but highly processed food and carbonated soda running through his veins. Like when was the last time he had any calcium? The pain was making me a little dizzy. I might have hit my head a little when I'd landed. I staggered for a moment. Yua quickly grabbed my hand.
怪我してるんですね。手貸します。
It was all I could do to not turn to look at her. I knew my face was bright red. If she saw it, she'd definitely make fun of me. I knocked her hand away violently so that I could turn away from her. My mind was going blank. I almost never had a chance to touch a girl who wasn't a family member. I could feel my heart beat quickening.
お家まで送ります。あなたが怪我したのは私がつきまとっちゃったせいですから。だから送らせてください。
I appreciated her offer. I wasn't used to having anybody be nice to me. And I felt like I might actually fall in love with this 3D girl I'd hated just a moment ago. Oh my god. But that didn't mean I had the courage to look straight at her. And anyway, she was a stalker, and she might have something to do with that demon girl too, and I didn't want to die. So many different thoughts were racing through my head that I didn't know what I felt anymore. So, you know what's super distracting so far with this game? Is that there's no music. I mean, at least like here, there's no music. And like Steins Gate, like basically every scene had like some kind of background music. This one is like dead silent. It would even have like when you're like at an intersection or like in a store or something, you would even have chatter. You know, you'd have people talking in the background. This game has like nothing. So it's just really interesting to see that like that comparison there.
あの、お家どこですか？
About to show the girl where you live, man?
深セン。
Shinsei.
深セン？
I nodded and then realized what I'd done. Uh-oh, you just doxed yourself, bro. Why the hell did I tell her that? What was I expecting to happen? This was just a delusion anyway. No, it's not. I didn't pick a delusion. Or maybe a neutral is a delusion. Or even if it wasn't, I would only be happy for a while before it all got ruined at the last second. That's how it always worked out in anime, right? I could feel the death flags popping up by the second. Foreshadowing that someone is going to die, a term from computer gaming. To give an example from popular culture, if a person in a war movie says, I'm getting married as soon as the war's over, they're probably not going to make it out alive. True. Crap, 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 crap. Now she was up against me, trying to help me walk. I could feel her soft body up against mine. Her hair smelled good. Uh oh. Impossible. No 3D girl would ever be this nice to me.
歩けますか？
I mean, not for nothing, I am suspicious because this guy is a misogynist fucking asshole. So why would she be so worried about him? I mean, there's definitely something that we don't know yet. And this is a science adventure game. For all I know, she could be some kind of fucking secret agent. We've literally seen that before. I nodded again.
じゃあ行きましょう。
She sounded nervous and she was watching my feet as we slowly walked. At this point, I didn't feel like I could refuse or shake her off. Helplessly, I let her tiny body support me as we went. How tiny is she? Neither I nor Yua said a word until we got to the building where the base was at. There you go. Now you got some ambience here. Where was the ambience before? There was no way I could have a real conversation with a girl. Even if I talked about anime or games or figures, a 3D girl would never try to understand. She'd just tell me I was creepy. So, you know what's so interesting is that I wonder how many times someone actually said that he was creepy to his face. Like, I wonder, because the little bit that we have now, or the little bit that we've seen, like, he went to the school, right? Almost nobody said anything to him. Except for that one guy, the playboy. And, we always have to keep in mind that this guy, he seems to be an unreliable protagonist. So, I just wonder, like, he keeps projecting all these things, right? All these things that people are gonna say and do and whatever. But has he ever himself experienced it? Or is he just projecting his expectations out into the world? Or was it like one thing? Like a long time ago. Like this kid is 17 years old, right? Did something happen in grade school where he liked a girl in his class and then she like said that he was gross or something and then like he just carried that for like 10 years? I'm not trying to make fun of that because I mean, it could happen. But that's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting right now. Is how often was he facing like these kinds of harassment? I'm very curious. And from my perspective, there was no point in talking to worthless girls like that. Jesus Christ. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I want to try to, like, be empathetic, but then he says shit like that. Like, I'm like, shut up. You fucking loser. Are they gonna if they get me to like this guy, it's gonna be amazing. Because I didn't like Okabe in the beginning, and then I ended up liking him at the end. So we'll see what happens. But holy shit, man, this is rough in the beginning.
ここでもういいから。
I whispered and then watched to see how she reacted. She nodded slightly and then let go of me. I still staggered a little.
やっぱりお部屋までついていきましょうか。
I ignored her and headed for the building's lobby. I say lobby, but it was really just a narrow hallway leading to some elevators. There was a small staircase, and when I tried to go up it, I felt an incredible pain that almost knocked me over.
大丈夫ですか？
She ran over and grabbed me. Damn it! Was she still here?
やっぱり部屋まで送ります。絶対送りますから。
She's gonna see that mess of a room. For some reason, she seemed really desperate. To be honest, she'd been a big help in getting me this far. My base was on the roof, and to get there, you had to take the elevator to the 8th floor and then go up a steep staircase. I couldn't have done it on my own. Yua didn't look that strong. I mean, you're not that strong, clearly. But she'd done everything she could to help me get up. She'd been supporting me for so long she was out of breath.
こんなところに住んでるんですね。
She looked at the shipping container in shock. I guess to most people, living in a shipping container was really weird.
な
Yeah.
んか憧れます。
We got the first hint. This game is making me really nervous.
アウトローな感じがしていいですよね。こういうのって。
Outlaw feeling. I certainly wasn't expecting her to say that. Was she trying to suck up to me? You can't fool me. I'm not letting 3D girls fool me. With her help, I unlocked the padlock and went inside. Ugh, I was finally home. What another awful day. I resolved again to never leave my room if I could help it.
真っ暗ですね。電気のスイッチはどこに？
She'd come right inside my room without bothering to ask. Well, guess it was because she'd been helping me walk this whole time. But still, I didn't really want her seeing the inside of my room. There was a whole shelf of figures and H games on the bed, and garbage all over the floor. Well, maybe you should clean up.
もういいから話して。
I waited for her to remove her hand, but she didn't.
床すごく散らかって。じゃなくて、歩きにくいと思うんですけど。絶対危ないです。
She said it's a disgusting mess. Oh no.
ソファーまで行きましょう。そこで話しますから。
In the end, I did as she told me. There were CDs and magazines all over the sofa, but she cleared a spot for me to sit down. She was really kind and considerate. Wait! I wasn't going to let her fool me. Not a chance.
平気ですか？
Like this... Yeah, he's definitely delusional. Like, what? Why would she need to fool you? For what? What do you have? You have nothing. Why would she need to fool you? Unless he actually does have something he doesn't know about it yet. Who knows? She could be a secret agent, like I said. It was just me and her inside the room. The door was still open, and a little bit of moonlight was coming in through it, but the room was mostly pitch black. It was too dark to read the expression on her face, but the fact that I couldn't see her made the sound of US breathing seem almost seductive somehow. I realized that this was the first time I'd let a girl, besides my sister, into my room, and she was also someone I barely even knew. If this was a game, it would mean she was totally into me. Maybe there'd be a situation where things would keep going, and I'd end up kissing her. But that wasn't what I was expecting. Reality was always cruel. I mean, you're no better. It wasn't like 2D, and this girl wasn't normal either. She was a stalker. How long was she going to keep standing there anyway? Now that she's seen me home, shouldn't she be going? Then I realized, was she waiting to get me alone so she could do something horrible to me?
明かりのスイッチは。
パソコンの。
パソコン？
The only light in this room was the desk light next to the computer. I tried to tell her that, but I couldn't.
そうか。デスクライトですね。
She carefully dodged around the garbage on the floor as she walked over to the computer desk and turned on the light. The room was finally freed from the darkness. When it was dark, the fact that I couldn't see made me imagine all kinds of different delusions. Being able to see her wasn't much better. I felt twice as embarrassed as before. I felt dead silent and quickly turned my face down. Her sudden gasp startled me. I looked and saw she was looking at the figure of Seirata next to my computer monitor.
これってプラチューのセイラちゃんですよね。
Oh, look at that. She's a fucking dork also.
え
What? Is it possible that there are girls that are dweebs? And maybe, just maybe, there are girls who like weeb shit? Like anime and manga and video games? No, that can't be. In my yeah, right? In my domain? What's up, Pigeon? Like, is it possible? Nah, man, nah, that can't be. That can't be at all.
知ってるの？
あ、はい。プラチューは大好きで毎週見てます。
She watches it every week. Uh-oh.
へえ。
Huh? Is she a fucking loser otaku dweeb like I am?
セイラちゃんがお好きなんですね。私もヒロインの中では彼女が一番好きなんですよ。
This
衣装
can't
も
be.
可愛いですし。
Uh-oh. There was a note of happiness in her voice. She seemed like she was telling the truth. That was surprising. Was Yua a
不女子。
Fujoshi? Girls who enjoy games, anime, doujins, etc. about love between two or more men. So-called yaoi. Normal female anime fans are not called fujoshi. Why would he? Wait, is Bloodtoon like a hentai? But he watches it on TV. Unless there's like a service he has to pay for to watch that shit on TV. Like why would he instantly assume that she's into yaoi just because she said she likes the anime that he likes? I'm not sure I'm understanding that.
あ、うん。
It's amazing that he immediately. I mean, honestly, she definitely looks the type. But it's kind of funny how he immediately assumes that she's into like that stuff instead of just like, oh, she likes normal shit. She was just an anime fan, I guess.
あれ、フィギュアって言うんですよね。ちょっと見せてもらってもいいですか？
It's funny how he said just an anime fan. So, this guy is incorrigible, man. Like, what are you disappointed that she's just a normal fan? Like, are you fucking for real?
すみません。ずうずうしいこと言っちゃって。もう帰った方がいいですよね。
She started to bow apologetically.
見ていいよ。
Look at him. He's actually enjoying himself now. Look at that. Anime fans attract other fans. In certain contexts, sure. Not always good though. I don't mind it when somebody complimented my wife. I guess I could be a little nice to her.
本当ですか？ありがとうございます。
Yeah, we can ignore the fact that she helped your worthless ass get up here. So we could be a little nice to her because she said something nice about your action figure. Well, I'm sorry, not action figure. It's a figure. Yeah. Only because of that, not because she helped you. She picked up Seda and began to examine her.
それは山陽堂版の覚醒前バージョンなんだ。セーラフィギュアはいくつか種類が出てるけど、最初に出たやつ。
First one that was ever made.
へえ。
あまりクオリティは高くないよ。顔とか微妙に崩れてるし、ポーズも平凡すぎてあんまりエロくないし。 でも服の胸元部分をキャストオフできるのは今のところそれだけなんだ。
Oh, really? It's one of those. Cast off. A popular feature found in female anime figures that started to appear around 2006, where parts such as clothes were made to be easily removable. This enabled purchasers to strip their figures naked, or in some cases, close to that. So, is it just to make the figure naked, or is it like a Barbie where you can like change the clothes? Because it's like if it's made to where you can like put on different outfits, then I guess. And also, like, how detailed is it? Is it like a Barbie where it's not detailed, or is it a little more creepy than that? I think we know the answer already.
胸元
Yeah, her top.
いや、ちなみに僕はセーラフィギュアは4種類全部揃えてるよ。そっちの棚に制服バージョンとメイドバージョン、あと水着バージョンがある。
Uniform maid and swimsuit versions.
そんなに種類がすごいですね。
一番評価が高いのはメイドバージョンなんだけど、個人的には水着バージョンも悪くないよ。
Look at this guy. He's almost not stuttering at all.
そうなんですか。見てみたいですね。でもちょっと暗くて。
It's almost like he's enjoying himself.
もうすぐアルファから待望の覚醒後バージョンが出るんだけど、これはかなりクオリティ高そうなんだ。
Alpha?
キャストオフも胸元だけじゃなくてほぼ全身可能だっていうし、表情もポーズも質感も言うことなしだね。あとはカラーさえバッチリなら今年発売されたフィギュアの中でも MVP 候補だよ。
Is that the one that he went to pre-order? I remember he wanted to pre-order something, but I don't remember what it was.
アルファ
メーカーだよ、フィギュアの。
ああ、なるほど。
Suddenly I gasped. I realized that I talked way too much. And about anime figures too. I also had the feeling I'd said all kinds of really embarrassing things about taking off clothes or sexy poses too. I wanted to see what the expression on her face was, but I didn't have the courage. She was probably looking at me like I was a piece of human garbage. Bro, this fucking guy. My heart was pounding fast as I tried to look away. When she said my name, I turned to face her before I'd realized what I'd done. The look of disgust and contempt I expected, it wasn't there. You don't fucking say!
さっき言っていた戦闘バージョンとかメイドバージョンも見せてもらっていいですか？
うん。そっちの棚に。
I'm kind of really hoping that this girl isn't a psychopath, but this is the Spike Chunsoft game, so she's probably a psychopath. We're gonna see. I didn't know how to react. She was smiling and looking like she was having a great time.
わあ、すごいですね。こんなにたくさん。
As she stared at the shelf of figures, her eyes were smiling brightly. I couldn't believe that a 3D girl could look at these and not be freaked out. Was the world a bigger place than I thought it was? Could it be? Could it be that all this time I was projecting my own insecurity onto other people as a way to avoid having to confront them myself? Because it's easier to just say that other people are the problem than to admit that maybe the issue is me? Nah, she's definitely a psycho. She's definitely a psychopath. And with that, I'm gonna run the ad because it's about to come up. So I'm gonna run the ad and then we'll continue. Maybe like that. We'll see. Because I really don't want to have this overhead light on. Okay. Was the world a bigger place than I thought it was?
メイドセーラちゃんってこれですね。ふむふむ、 アニメの印象とはちょっと違うけど、すごく可愛いです。
she said, really cute.
下着までちゃんと作り込んであるんだ。こういうの実物で見たのは初めてですけど、いいですね。私も買ってみようかな。
She saw the underwear and she didn't freak out? What?
だったら覚醒後バージョンを予約した方がいいよ。あれは絶対おすすめだから。
The post-awakening version.
そうですね。あなたの話を聞いていたら、その覚醒後バージョンは本気で欲しくなりました。
What the fuck was that in behind her on the screen? Something just came up.
覚醒後って12話のあのシーンのことですよね。
よく知ってますな、お主。かなりのマニアですな。
I'm scared now. What the fuck's going on with his computer screen?
はい、好きですから。特にあの時の覚醒シーンは毎日録画したものを見返してます。
Every day.
あのシーンって演出と作画宮地なんだ。だからクオリティ高くて当然。
Miyagi did it, so of course it's good.
宮地？
そういう神クリエイターがいるんだ。あの人の演出はマジで神だよ。アットちゃんの実況版でも神来たってなるし。
God level creator. You know, this girl is like similar to like how I am. Like I'll see something that I like and I'll be like I really like it, but then if you try to like talk to me about creators and, you know, or actors or whatever, I'll be like, "What? Like what are you talking about?" Like I like it, but I'm not like I don't go scouring the internet trying to find everything out about like what's going on with it.
そうなんですか。すごく知識が豊富なんですね。私、スタッフが誰かなんてまるで気にしてませんでした。
Yeah, me too. I'm one of those.
監督と演出と脚本はチェックしとくといいよ。特に新作なんかはそれを調べるだけで内容の良し悪しが大体予測できるし。
Yeah, I can mostly agree with that. Sure.
わかりました。今度からそうしてみますね。
She was still smiling at me with her pretty smile.
あ
A girl smiling at me? I thought that only happened in H games, but now it's happening to me. But whenever 3D girls, especially my little sister, were smiling at me, it's because they were making fun of me. She was up to something, I knew it. I couldn't forget Seidatan's words. Don't believe anybody. Don't listen to anything anyone says. Damn, man. え、
こんなこと聞いていいかどうかわからないんですけど。
何？
She started to fidget a little. She was looking down at the ground and avoiding looking me in the eye. We have some music? Uh-oh.
聞かせてもらってもいいでしょうか。あなたのお名前。
Your name? Gulp?
名前？
I realized that she'd introduced herself, but I hadn't. Yeah, because you're an asshole.
西条匠。
Takumi. Suddenly, I felt embarrassed. The words came out quiet and soft.
西条匠くんですね。何年生？
The music! It's inspiring! Is this a friend?
2年。
私は3年。私の方が年上さんですね。
Senpai? She's a senpai? And is she a friend? Oh no. Why do you do this to me, game? Do I do a delusion or not? I kinda don't want to. I'm scared. Oh no. That moe pose is enough to almost make me pass out. I'm gonna do neutral. I am scared. I am actually fucking scared for either of those things. I'm gonna go neutral. Neutral. No delusion. Was Yua's Moa type quiet older girl? She was trying to seduce me. She was dangerous. She was definitely up to something. Person's preference or proclivity. Used primarily to refer to the type of romantic partner they prefer, or fetish they find compelling. If you find girls with glasses attractive, you may be the glasses type. Thank you. Or if you prefer clumsy klutzes, you may be the klutzy girl type. The word type can be used to describe someone who fits this profile as well. So a girl with glasses can be a glasses type too. An older girl with a calm personality can be the easygoing older girl type. And a girl who... I'm not going to read that part. Should I do positive? I'm scared. Fuck, man. I'm scared. The last time I did positive, it was creepy. Maybe I should save it. Should I save it? I'm not gonna save scum. I'm not safe scumming. Like whatever we get is what we get. But fuck. Oh, bro, this fucking game terrifies me. I kind of don't want to do one.
それで西条くんにお願いがあるんです。
Is it okay to do a positive? I kind of want to go neutral, but maybe it's okay to go positive. I'm scared. I kind of... Fuck. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Should I do positive? So, it's interesting that it's like a heartbeat. And then this isn't a heartbeat. It goes in a different direction. Oh, the heartbeat went away. Is it only the one time? Oh. Why does it do that? Fuck. I kind of want to do positive. But no. Let's do neutral. Neutral might be safe. If he doesn't fuck it up. He might fuck it up. He might fuck it up if he's delusional. I'm going neutral. A request, don't tell me. Oh, god damn it. Should I go? No! If I go positive, he's definitely gonna be a creep. If I go based on what happened with the sister, he would definitely be a creeper, right? So neutral. We're gonna do neutral. Going to ask me to give her a Seidaton figure. So if I went positive, would that change? So like, is she gonna ask to give her a kiss? Okay. So I'm gonna write, yeah, I went neutral. And okay. So then what the fuck would the red be? I don't know. Let's go. Well, she couldn't have it. Nobody could come between me and my wife. I wasn't going to part with Seidaton no matter who asked, no matter how much money they offered. If she wanted her that bad, she could go buy her own. As I stood there mentally cursing her for daring to try and take my Seidaton, Yua suddenly fell backwards and landed on her butt. She was rubbing her behind, looking a little teary-eyed.
すみません。CD を踏んづけちゃったみたいです。 ケース割れたかも。
Uh-oh.
本当にごめんなさい。私きちんと片付けますから。
I mean, it's his fault for being a fucking pig.
いいよ。
At least he's not being an asshole. I just wanted her to go home. What was that request she'd asked about a moment ago anyway? Yua started to pick up the trash and CDs around her feet, even though I just told her not to. She looked so apologetic that I started to feel like I was the bad guy. You are!
じゃあ足の踏み場だけでも確保させてください。すいません。その後でお願い言いますから。
She seemed like a mom as she moved around, cleaning things up. Someone who didn't care about what other people thought and just ran around doing whatever they wanted. Nosy and annoying. In a situation like this, was I supposed to be helping her? Bro, what is up with that screen? And then as we both reached for the same piece of garbage, our hands would touch, and we would gasp and gaze into each other's eyes. Oh no, he's just thinking to himself. Alright, pigeons, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night. Wait, this wasn't a romantic comedy. No way was I going to help. God. In the middle of carefully piling up a bunch of magazines, her hand suddenly froze. She was turned away from me, and I couldn't see what she was holding. I think we can probably get.
いえ、気にしないでください。
She seemed really shaking. This was suspicious. I realized that she was in a position to see everything in my room. She might want to steal something. She might even think that there were so many figures I wouldn't notice if she took one. But I would. I knew all of my wives really well. If one disappeared, I'd notice immediately.
フィギュアには触らないでね。
This fucking guy.
はい。いえ、違うんです。ブラチューの同人誌っていうんですか？それが落ちてまして、ちょっと中身を見てみたら。
Yeah, I think we all knew that was coming. Speaking of coming, a Bloodtoon's doujinshi. Oh, that was a naughty one.
すごかったのでびっくりしました。
Oh, I bet it is.
勝手に見ないでよ。
すいません。
She quickly got back to work, and then, when she'd secured enough room to sit, she turned toward me.
それで、さっき言ったお願いですけど。
Here it was. I gulped as my body tensed up.
さっき言ったフィギュアの予約、一緒に行ってもらえませんか？
What? It's a reasonable request?
私、そういうアニメショップみたいなところって今まで行ったことなくて。で、私、なんだかすごくぶしつけなお願いしてますよね。すいません。私のせいで西条くんは怪我をしたのに。
Honestly, I would say it's less her fault and more his fault. Because he eats like shit. And he has no muscle. This was dangerous. I needed to be really careful about how I responded. Sure, she and I had the same hobbies. She said she liked Seda, too. And she listened to the things I said like she actually cared. For an otaku like me, she was an easy person to talk to. But this was a trap. It had to be. This kind of stuff only happened in H games, not in the real world. I wouldn't let the 3D world fool me. Think, what was Yua after?
すいません。今のお願いは忘れてください。私、西条くんがいろいろ話してくれるのが、嬉しくて。
She bowed to me. Most 3D girls were really bossy and arrogant. She was a rare exception. No 3D girl could possibly be this cute and kind. It was all an act. This guy, he's... This guy is sniffing his own farts. Like, well, I mean, yeah, he is. He lives in here. So he sniffed his own farts so often that he has brain damage. I was gonna say no. I was going to come out and say it clearly, like a man. Go on. She looked up at me, and I could see that her eyes were dim. Was she crying? Because I didn't say anything? Had I made her cry? Please, anything but that. I'd only ever experienced anything like this in video games. My heart was pounding really fast. I even felt guilty. I'd always heard people say that girls use tears as a weapon, but only now that I realized that it was true. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. I am still personally leaning on the theory that she's like a secret agent or something. But yeah, what are you gonna do, man? I just stood there, half stammering. Oh, you're standing now? I thought you were sitting. I tried to say I'd go with her, but I couldn't. What if I said yes, and the next thing she said was, "Don't take me seriously, idiot, you're creepy." I was so scared of the idea that I was struck silent.
無理してくれなくていいです。私のわがままに石城くんを付き合わせるのは良くないですし。
Okay. You know what? You know what? I actually believe that this girl is manipulating him intentionally. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. She is she a secret agent looking for something? I don't know yet. But I don't believe that she is genuine. I think she's definitely on. You know what? You know what? He might actually have a point. Her eyes were even wetter now. It felt like tears could start pouring from her eyes any second.
行くよ。
Oh, look at you, Mr. Man. Eh?
言ってもらえるんですか？
I nodded helplessly. Oh yeah, you are helpless. It was the only way I could think of to get her to stop crying. The whole thing felt like a setup, but she let out a sigh of relief and then took off her glasses to wipe away her tears.
断られて当然だと思ってたのに。石城くん、ありがとうございます。
Nishijo-kun. She said thanks. I'd managed to keep her from crying at least. I got lucky, I guess. Whew, why did this have to be so stressful? You couldn't let your guard down around 3D girls for a minute, damn it.
行くとしたらいつがいいでしょう？
What happened to that sad expression of hers? Now she looked really happy. Maybe she was making it up the whole time. If so, she had a future as an actress. Honestly, I'm actually kind of thinking maybe he has a point.
セイラちゃんの新しいフィギュアはもうすぐ発売なんですよね。
うん。きっとすぐに完売しちゃうだろうね。
だったら早めに行った方が良さそうですね。
It's a date? Question mark?
明日とか。
Tomorrow? But that cuts into his weeb time. According to my schedule, tomorrow was a school day. This week I had to go 3 times. Of course, that meant next week I only went twice. Tomorrow was going to be an even worse day than I thought. But Yua looked really excited. And if I told her I had changed my mind now, she might cry again. Ugh, she had me in her clutches.
わかったよ。
Fine. I reluctantly agreed. Yua looked happy. But she couldn't fool me, okay?
西条くんは何組？明日放課後に迎えに行きますよ。
B 組。
Class B.
2年 B 組ですね。じゃあ授業が終わったら待っててください。
2B. It's usually B, isn't it? It's kind of weird. I think. Well, maybe not usually. Like the Persona games. I think a lot of them were B. My Hero Academia was 1A though. So that was different. That wasn't a B. Were Persona all B classes? I feel like they were, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. I nodded, hoping I could get her to leave. I was going somewhere with a girl. This wasn't a dream or a delusion, was it? No, it's not. I specifically picked neutral. Unless there's a neutral delusion, which I can't have any control over. I tried pinching myself. It hurt.
それじゃあ長い間お邪魔しちゃってすいませんでした。足もし痛かったらお医者さんに行ってくださいね。
うん。
I sat on the sofa and watched her go. Just before she left, she turned and waved at me.
西条くん、また明日。
Bro, like, I want to believe that she is genuine, but I'm really starting to suspect that she is some kind of psychopath. Like, actually. Which is a very safe assumption to make because, you know, it's a Spike Chunsoft game. So it's very safe to make that assumption.
また明日だってさ。
Is that what that was? Why does the screen look like that? That's so disorienting. See you tomorrow, she said. Yeah.
しかも手を振ったりして。
Yeah, she didn't call you a creep or anything. I felt a grin coming on, but forced myself to stop.
あの女絶対僕に惚れてる。間違いないね。
You know what? Let him dream.
まあ付き合うか付き合わないかは僕に選択肢があるわけだし、あの女を情け容赦なく振ってやるさ。
Yeah, Mr. Big Dick Energy, Chad. Yeah, I bet
お
you
前は
will.
僕の女にふさわしくない。セイラよりいい女になって出直してこい。まあ一生無理だけどな。何しろセイラは永遠の17歳だからな。みたいな。
Jesus Christ. No girl could be better than Seda-tan. I picked up the figure and rubbed it against my cheeks. Seda-tan looked happy.
おっと時間か。今のところテストに出るからな。ちゃんとノート書いておけよ。今日はここまで。起立。礼。
Stand, bow. The math teacher, what was her name again? Well, it didn't matter. Left the room, and the school day came to an end. The other students were all talking about where to go after school or heading off to their clubs or teams. Most of them immediately got ready to go home. Normally, as soon as the last chime rung, I would put my things together and go home. But today, I stayed in my seat, trying my best not to look at any of the other students. Today, I was meeting Yua. Normally, a day with a girl would be a WKTK situation. Mid-2000s Japanese slang for hopeful and excited. How do I pronounce that? What do you mean that's slang? WKTK? How the hell do I do I just spell it? WKTK. I don't know. But for me, for today, it was just depressing. My nerves were all jittery. My stomach hurt. I never agreed to go anywhere with a girl, and I didn't know what to do. Would she even come? Maybe the whole thing yesterday was a prank, and she was watching me from the shadows and laughing, I thought. In a way, that might be better than if she actually did come. Wait, did I even need to wait for her at all? Couldn't I just ditch her and go home? Yeah, that was the way. She was in a different grade than me anyway. If I ditched her here, we'd never meet again. I made my decision and stood up.
Taku, 何してんだ?
This guy. Also, he's not dead. I kind of wondered if he would be. Someone slapped me on the back hard. I didn't need to turn around to see who it was. The only person in the class weird enough to talk to me was Misumi.
お前帰らないのか? いつもならチャイムが鳴ると同時に消えるのによ。俺密かに匠の音速直帰って名付けてたんだぜ。
Takumi's Sonic Boom Dash. Nice.
もう帰るよ。
誰か待ってるとか。
Uh-oh.
え
Is this guy... No. This guy wouldn't... He wouldn't cock block, would he? Bro, that'd be fucked up. How did you know?
なんだよ、図星かよ。
He wouldn't do that, right?
どうして？
なんだかやけにそわそわしてたからな。教室の入り口をさっきから何度も気にしてるし。
He was perceptive. But I need to be careful with what I said. Don't forget, Takumi. Your goal is to stand out at school as little as possible. You have to be like the air itself.
別に誰も待ってないよ。
そうか？だったら今の間はなんだよ。
Oh, he's so bad at this.
それは。
Crap. Misumi wasn't a bad guy, but he could be really annoying at times like this. Read the room, jerk. Read the room, i.e. take the hint and don't be an ass. A phrase commonly used by 2000s era Japanese otaku. When Takumi uses it, it most often means take the hint and leave me alone.
西条くん
My whole body froze. I turned toward the voice, feeling sheer terror. Yua was standing timidly at the door. Oh no. Thanks to Mizumi, I'd lost my chance to run away.
おい、なんだりゃ。どういうことだ？
Oh god. Bro, is he gonna be a third wheel? Actually, I kind of want him to be a third wheel. It might have been the first time I'd seen Mizumi freak out like this. He wrapped an arm around my shoulder, pulled me in close, and looked me in the eye.
おい、タク、どういうことか説明しろよ。
Oh, Jesus.
お前の彼女か。
Yeah, he wishes.
違うよ。
I told him 1,000 times that I didn't have any interest in 3D girls.
だったら何なんだよ。言っとくが、タクの姉ちゃんとかそういうオチは期待してねえからな。
Let's not go there.
引きこもりのくせに何をどうやったらあんないい女と知り合えるんだ。
You're Hikikomori.
昨日急に付きまとわれて。
そりゃつまりあれか？逆難されたってことか。え？この。
In a way, she did. So that's not too far from the truth. He grabbed me by the jaw and shook me for a second before finally letting me go. The jaw?
そうか。世の中には物好きってのもいるんだな。けど、タクがまともな性癖を持ってたみたいで、少し安心したぜ。
Yeah, I would much rather that we not talk about something like that. Please?
性癖って。
Please? Can we not?
それに彼女とは別に何も。
そうか。頑張れよ、タク。
Okay, so he's not going to be a third wheel. Yeah, interesting. Musumi wasn't listening to me. He was all excited now and slapping my back harder than before. Ugh, he was definitely teasing me.
安心しろって。お前の女を寝取ったりしねえから。
Wow, look at that. What a bro.
だからそういう関係じゃ。
ほら、さっさと行けよ。彼女、お待ちかねみたいだぜ。
He pushed me in her direction. I began to slowly walk forward. I guess I didn't get to run away after all.
迎えに来たの迷惑でした？
いや。
It sure as hell was. I looked back at Misumi, and he was grinning and giving me the finger. I couldn't tell if he was cheering me on or trying to start a fight. Yeah, what? Why would he do that? There was no point in trying to deal with him anymore, so I decided to just leave the school.
すいません。昨日会ったばかりなのにこんなお願いをしてしまって。
いや。
I was really nervous. Me leaving school with a girl, like a Ryaju, like a popular kid. I thought this was a world I'd never have anything to do with. Ryaju. Otaku slang for someone whose real life, Ria, is fulfilling, jujitsu, and fun. Ryaju will have a girlfriend, lots of friends, and perhaps be on a sports team. So, like a jock? So he's saying like a jock. Okay, fine. I never thought it would happen to me. But right now, there seemed to be an intense aura radiating from her. Were we just walking side by side? We were just walking side by side. Why did I feel so nervous? I still didn't know who she was or what she wanted. What would she want with a creepy otaku like me?
おとといの
You know what's funny is how he keeps calling himself that. And instead of like fixing it, he's just like trying to. Well, I don't know if the term is to embrace it. I don't know if that's the right term. It's almost like he's trying to beat himself up for his lifestyle. I don't know. As we keep going, he's clearly running from something, right? Like I feel like he's definitely running away from something. Maybe something to do with his family, maybe not. And he keeps talking like this in a way to like put himself down. I mean, this is just. I could be completely fucking wrong. It could be nothing like this at all. But this is kind of like the feeling that I'm getting, you know, is that he's like kind of trying to keep punishing himself in like this way because he feels like maybe he doesn't deserve it. Maybe. 2 days ago.
あ、いや、
She started talking out of nowhere, so I got surprised and said something weird sounding. She seemed to be nervous too. Her expression was tense. She was older than me, but actually quite innocent. It was pretty moe. Not that I could do much more than glance at her every so often. I was too embarrassed to look her in the eye.
おとといのブラチュー見ましたよね。
うん。
私、一箇所だけいまいちよくわからないところがあったんですけど。
You're fucking lying. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing, girl.
すすむくんがセイラちゃんのピンチに駆けつけてきて助けてくれますよね。でも、どうしてすすむくんはセイラちゃんが危ないってわかったのかなって。
Okay. This is amazing because if you want to get a guy to like speak with you, one of the best ways you can do it is to pretend that you don't know something. Or, you know, even if you don't know something, it's if you don't know something, that's fine, you can ask. But if you do know something, you could pretend that you don't know it. I refuse to believe that this fucking bitch does not know how Susumu knew that she was in danger. She knows. But she's trying to get him to talk, so she's pretending she doesn't. Maybe to some of you that's obvious, but I mean, that's to me what this looks like. Am I giving her too much credit? I don't know. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm calling her out for her bullshit.
あれは先週の回に伏線があったんだ。セイラの携帯が鳴ってるシーンが一瞬だけ挿入されてて、着信表示で進むの名前が出てる。
Oh, really?
そういえば、そんなシーンありましたね。
You're right.
山田がそういう細かい伏線をあちこちに貼るのが好きなんだ。キンゴルでも似たようなことをやってた。
Golden Goal, is that a soccer anime?
山田くキンゴ
山田くっていうのはブラチューの監督の愛称だよ。で、山田くがブラチューの前に監督やってたアニメがキンゴル。
ル。へえ。じゃあ、山田くさんって有名な監督さんなんですね。
まあ、僕は好きな方かな。なんでかっていうと。
Look at that. Look at that. She got him talking the whole way. GG, girl. I started lecturing her on anime, and the next thing I knew, we were at Animate. We got in here much faster than I expected. I'd gotten really excited and talked too much again. Yua was a great listener. Whenever I showed off some random piece of knowledge, she acted really interested. I knew this whole thing was a trap, but I kept talking anyway. I'm so bad at speaking, and this had never happened before. It felt like chatting online. It was kind of weird.
なんだかドキドキしてきました。先に帰ったりしないでくださいね。
Stay by my side, okay?
うん。
She went up to the clerk with an expression of intense nervousness on her face and ordered the Seda post-awakening version figure. All I did was stand back and watch. I kept looking for a chance to run away, but she kept shooting nervous glances at me, and I couldn't move. Afterward, at her request, I showed her around the store. She was happy to find all kinds of things she might want to buy, but I didn't have the energy left to smile back at her. Yua came to school by train, so I was forced to go with her to Shinsen Station. She might look like an airhead, but she wasn't. Whenever she wanted something, she knew just how to make me give it to her. Black. She was a black character. Oh. Okay. So, wow. Wow, that is definitely a Japanese thing. Let's see. 2000s era net slang for a person with a black-hearted personality. Specifically, someone who is friendly and kind on the surface, but in their heart harbors malice towards others. Certain people, mostly otaku, find this gap between surface personality and inner thoughts to be very moe.
西条くんって携帯は持ってないんですか？
She suddenly asked me that I was just as we got to the station. A phone, huh? I shook my head, slightly sad.
持ってないんですか？それじゃ連絡が取れないですね。
Maybe you should have went and gotten a phone, you fucking dumbass.
連絡
Contact me for what? Are you going to keep bugging me instead of leaving me alone?
でも西条くんパソコン持ってましたよね。私も持ってるからメールアドレスを交換しませんか？
どうして
そのフィギュアの発売日に取りに行かなくちゃいけませんよね。その時にまた一緒に。まだ一人でアニメ8に行く勇気はないから。
Clever.
それに
She was a clever one.
私西条くんと
I knew it, but I couldn't say no. If I did, I'd be the bad guy here.
もっと
3D girls were truly terrifying.
仲良くなりたいから。
Yeah. Was it just that I wasn't used to talking to people? Or was she just a master persuader? Definitely the first. We're gonna find out eventually about the second. It felt like she wasn't going to go home until I gave her my email address. And yet, she seemed nervous as she looked up at me from behind her glasses. For some reason, I felt my will to resist draining away. My skin felt clammy, and a cold chill was running down my spine, but I couldn't run away or say no. There was something strange about Yua, something that wasn't normal. Yeah, she seems to have an interest in you, so I agree. I couldn't explain what exactly wasn't normal about her, but she definitely wasn't normal. Next thing I knew, I'd written my email address on a scrap of notebook paper and handed it to her. She looked happy as she took it, then bowed and disappeared into the station. I stood there for a solid 10 minutes. That's a long time, with a blank look on my face, like my soul had drained out of my body. Nightheart. What would you think about a girl like that? I don't know what to do. I mean, it feels like she's up to something. She has to be. Hey, are you listening, Grim? What's the name of this H game? That night, I asked Grim about Yua. It felt like I wasn't getting anywhere on my own. But that was the answer I got. To be fair, this was the same reaction I had the first time I talked to her. I was nitty to ask you in the first place. Wait, lol, you're serious? Man, you're such a lucky bastard. I didn't think you had it in you. I thought you said you weren't even into 3D girls. It's not like that. Grim was reacting just like Misumi. Maybe the two of them were actually the same person. Well, guys like you, Nightheart, who've never dated a girl in your life, often quit being otaku the minute you get a girlfriend. Your girlfriend's not gonna like those 10-minute monologues about school swimsuits. I mean, really.
メールだよボケなす
Wow. I prefer competition swimsuits to school swimsuits. That's not the issue, lol. Got mail, dork, huh? I just heard Sedatan's voice. I set that voice to play whenever I got an email. I looked over at my inbox, and the sender's name was Yua Kusunoki.
うわ、早速来た。
It's here already. I got an email just now. Hooray! Wait, he's like spinning around in a circle. That's so funny. An email from a 3D girl. I'd never gotten one before. I gulped and I opened it. Hello, something. Takumi. Hello, this is Yua Kusunoki. Sorry for sending you an email out of the blue like this. It would make me very happy if you saved my email address in your contacts list. Oh, she does the emojis too. Sorry for bringing you along with me today, but it made me very happy. Maybe because I'd never been to a store like that before. Or, I think it was because I was with you, maybe? Lol. What time are you coming to school tomorrow? Oh, the reason I'm asking is, I want to say hello in the morning, kinda. How do I forgot how I do it. Ah, fuck. Alright, it's this one, on the right. I hope we run into each other tomorrow, even if it's just by chance. Bye! I'll send you another email later. Good night! Okay, and the backlog is here. You could sense her elegance and femininity coming off the page, but the emojis also made her feel friendly and approachable. But it was because I was with you, Nishijo, and I want to say hello in the morning. It felt like she might be plotting something. Show me what it said. It's totally normal. Basically just a hello. What the fuck? Oh, he just copied it and sent it, the whole thing. Grim was being obnoxious, so I decided to type in the whole message for him. Of course, I didn't type in our personal information. What is this? It feels like she's head over heels for you. Die in a fire, Nightheart. God. Help me out here, man. It's some kind of trap. Right. It's all a big conspiracy. You're overthinking things, aren't you? It sure looks like she's into you. You're almost at the good ending. I mean, this is impossible. I'm a creepy otaku. Why would a cute girl from the real world want to date me? Lol, dude, you're just bragging now. Help me out here! Calm down. You're just overthinking things. She and you have a lot in common, right? There aren't many nice girls like that left. That's not true. But he's sounding reasonable. Like, you're overthinking things. Yeah. You have a lot in common, right? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of suspicious of why she was interested in the first place. But, you know, I'm sure that this is a Spike Chunsoft game, so I'm sure there's nothing weird going on. I knew that, but she was too nice. It was creepy. I mean, the stalker stuff at the start was a little much. But that just goes to show how much she likes you, right? She's an anime fan, right? She's like the ideal girlfriend. Or an otaku, anyway. Get her to go along with all your weird-ass fantasies. Oh, God. That actually sounded pretty appealing. No. That was just what she wanted me to think. I'm not into 3D girls.
そうだけど。
Yeah, right. You want to date her really badly, right? This is your chance to stop being an otaku. You'll never get another chance like it. I'm sure of it. Yeah, but... This is your chance. Stop being a wimp and go for it. Be like Nightheart, but in the real world. Go for it! Yo, Grim is spitting facts, bro. He's like being a fucking real homie right now. Stop being a fucking bitch and just talk to her. If only I could. Life would be so much easier. Talking to her today and the day before taught me that. It could be fun and make me happy, but it was also exhausting and a pain in the butt. If it was that hard, I'd be better off living a peaceful, relaxing life with 2D girls. So I decided not to answer Yua's email. What a fucking bitch. The fire was burning. Long tongues of flames danced within the incinerator. He assigned it a sailor uniform, and several textbooks were being burnt to ash. A house in the foot. Oh, is this her? I don't know. You know, all these girls look very similar. So I don't know if it's her. A house in the foothills overlooking the Seto Inland Sea. In the distance, you could hear the whistles of the ships. A salt breeze gently shook the trees around the house. Despite her idyllic surroundings, the small girl in front of the incinerator, Kozue Orihara, was in a miserable state. Her eyes reflected the red light of the fire as she watched the sailor uniform and textbooks burnt to ash in the incinerator. Until yesterday, that had been her uniform, and those had been her textbooks. She was the one who had put them in the incinerator, but she must have still felt some attachment to them because she kept staring at them. Suddenly, she winced in pain and put her hands tightly over her ears. She opened her mouth, but that was all she could do. She couldn't moan or cry. All she could do was gasp for breath. She kept shaking her head as if begging for something to stop. Then she collapsed, falling onto the ground. She looked up, exhausted, at the sky. She stayed there, unmoving, for several minutes. And then suddenly, she turned around. She was staring at the house's veranda. The house was made of wood and over 50 years old. Even though it was still daytime, much of the veranda was shrouded in deep shadow, leaving it in darkness. She slowly staggered up and walked toward it. Just then, her mother appeared, as if she'd been waiting.
あら、小杖ちゃん、探してたのよ。もう荷物の整理はできたの？
Kozue nodded and sat on the veranda.
あさってにはもうこの家ともお別れなのね。
Her mother stood behind her and looked at the peaceful Seto Sea.
東京なんて行くの、小杖ちゃんは初めてよね。
Alright, so this is like a country girl?
いいお友達ができるといいわね。
What is she, like a transfer student? I bet you she's a transfer student. She's probably a second year transfer student, and she's gonna end up sitting right next to what's his face? Takagi? Well, Nishijo, but whatever the other. Let's just say Nishijo. Kozue didn't reply to her mother's kind words. She didn't shake her head or nod. She just stared sadly at the incinerator in the corner of the yard, and the flames that still rose from it. It was a week after, on a school day. As usual, I headed to school in a gloomy mood, staring down at my feet as I went. So did he not say anything to Yua this whole time? What a fucking dick. Fall was clearly at hand. The trees in Shoto Park were changing colors, and I was starting to feel cold in my short-sleeved shirt. Since I spent almost all my time in my room, it always felt strange when the seasons changed like this. It still felt like summer to me. I spent the whole weekend playing ESO. Grim kept asking about Yua, but I just ignored him. Yua hadn't sent me any more messages. Maybe she'd given up when I hadn't replied. I certainly hope so. Whenever I talked to her, I always felt myself wavering. I started to feel hope. But there was no point in a creepy otaku like me having hope. I'd lived my whole life without ever having hope fulfilled. That's why I'd lost interest in 3D girls. Man, I am really curious to see what set this whole thing off with him. I really am. Please don't make me hope. Please don't have any hopes for me. Suddenly, someone patted me on the shoulder from behind. I turned around, expecting to see Nanami or Masumi, but was surprised.
西条くん
Her cheeks were a little flushed, and she was smiling at me. For some reason, she was out of breath.
後ろ姿が見えたからもしかしたら西条くんかなって思って走って追いかけちゃいました。
Hadn't she given up? Did she still have hopes for me?
おはようございます西条くん。
Aww. She said it.
うん。
やっと言えました。土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど
It took 4 days, counting the weekend.
先週メールを送ったんですけど読んでもらってます。
By the time I realized I'd nodded, it was too late.
よかった。返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど我慢しておいて正解でした。
Aw, don't make me like her, cause she's gonna end up being a psycho. You know what? Even if she was a psycho, I'd probably still like her anyway. What does she want me to do? Was I supposed to fall in love with her, be her boyfriend, and then we were supposed to be a happy, loving couple? Bro, this guy overthinks everything. How about just a friend? Maybe she just wants to be friends. For some fucking reason. Impossible. That kind of thing was for other people, not me. I wanted to do it. Ah, there it is. But there was no way I could. He's punishing himself. Why are you punishing yourself, bro? There's something there. He is punishing himself. And we're gonna find out why. I still didn't understand why Yua liked me anyway. I couldn't trust her. So it was just impossible.
西条くんどうしたんですか？
え？
ずっと立ち止まってるので。
I started walking fast to leave her behind, but she jogged to catch up with me.
昨日西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけどいませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。でも元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
Is he gonna tell her?
はい。
僕たまにしか学校来ない。みんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
I mean, that sounds like hikikomori behavior. You're disgusted, aren't you? You learned who I really am, and now you don't like me anymore, right? That's fine. I never expected anything in the first place. Go ahead, think I'm creepy, and then just leave me alone.
そうですか。でも今日は会えてよかったです。
Ah! She's gonna be a psychopath! She's gonna be a fucking psychopath! And you know what? You know what? I'm fucking okay with it. Actually, if she turns out to not be a psychopath, I'm probably gonna be a little bit disappointed. Maybe.
No.
I didn't know how to react to that. I found myself staring into her smile. Our eyes met, and then I quickly lowered my gaze. Why wasn't she treating me like she thought I was creepy?
っていうかたまにでも学校に来てるなら西条くんは引きこもりじゃないと思います。
Yeah? Are we gonna be a little technical here?
すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
I mean, I guess we can be technical. Like, Hikikomori basically never fucking leave the house. Like, never. Like, basically never. He at least does it a couple times a week.
でも苦痛だよ。
だとしたら偉いです。
え？
That wasn't something I ever expected to hear. What was impressive about a loser like me? You mean besides, you know, that's the thing. That's why I know this guy is full of shit. I know he's full of shit because he keeps putting himself down. He keeps calling himself a loser, saying that he's a creepy otaku, basically saying he doesn't deserve anything, and yet he keeps fucking stepping outside. He keeps doing it. He's clearly crying out for help. And we don't know why. Why? What is going on with you? What is it? I actually want to know now. I still think he's an asshole, because he is. But I'm understanding better. Like, I actually am. You smiled gently at me. It was a smile that could heal a wounded heart. That's how it felt to me.
だって西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから。普通なら普通は来られないですよ。
でも僕はオタだしキモいし。
私西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
What? Why was she telling me all this? Why did it feel so good? It felt like she was holding me in a warm embrace. Or like she was telling me that it was okay for me to be here. Maybe with her help, I could go back to being a normal person.
大変予礼ですよ。
Suddenly, I realized that there were barely any students left around us. They'd all gone inside the school building.
西条くん、それじゃあ私失礼します。あ、今日の放課後時間ありますか？
え？
もしよかったらその
Classic.
一緒に帰りましょう。
Wants to go home together. She spoke softly, her cheeks turning a little red.
放課後中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら来てください。あ、無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
She bowed politely and headed off to the third-year wing. As I watched her go, I pinched my cheek. Just as I thought, this wasn't a dream or a delusion. Alright, the ads are about to come up, so let's throw them on, and I will be back. Alright, let us continue. Ads should be done by now. I spent the whole day's worth of classes in a daze. I don't think I heard a single thing the teacher said. I just rested my chin on my hand and stared out at the autumn sky. Neither my classmates nor the teachers paid the slightest bit of attention to me. But Yua paid attention to me. She wasn't like the rest of those assholes. I sat there the whole day, thinking about her and indulging in one delusion after another. And before I knew it, school was over.
Yo, Taku. 今日もデートか?
Taku. It's like taco. Like octopus. Taco. Taku.
この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかく、
Bro.
やっちまうのが礼儀。
そんなことしないよ。
Yeah, relax.
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
ユアとはそんなことしない。
は？お前まだ言ってんの？なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は 引きこもりじゃない。
That's not what I meant, anyway. Misumi only cared about sleeping with girls. He wouldn't understand. I ran past the confused look at Misumi and quickly left the classroom. The fastest way to get to the courtyard from the second-year classrooms was to go across the connecting corridor to the third-year student building, and then head down the stairs. At least as far as I knew. I didn't come to school that often, so I didn't know what led where. I didn't even know where some places, like most of the special classrooms, were. So I was a little nervous when I went down to the connecting corridor. Main character! There was a girl standing in the middle of the corridor, staring up at the sky. She had a very stern expression on her face. She didn't seem lost in thought or anything like that. She was clearly in a place that would block traffic, but she wasn't moving at all. Come on, I know you hear my footsteps getting closer. Get out of the way, I'm in a hurry. For some reason, she felt like a Dokyun. I needed to make sure not to get closer or let her notice me. Just as I tried to walk past this girl, who I decided to call Girl B.
Oi.
Oh shit. Crap, she talked to me. Was she going to mug me? Or was she going to say she didn't like my face and then take me to her group of Dokyun friends so they could beat me up? Please no. What did I ever do to you? I glanced over at her to find she was glaring at me.
お前誰だ?
Uh-oh. I wasn't sure how to answer that. I was Takumi Nishijo, obviously, but I'd never met this girl, so there was no way she would know that. She must be planning to do something really terrible to me.
すいません。
I bowed quickly, being careful not to look at her, and then ran away at top speed. I ran down the staircase in the third-year wing and out the doors, then glanced behind me. The scary girl didn't seem to have followed me. The 3D world was an awful place. There were traps everywhere. I took a few deep breaths and looked around the courtyard. The courtyard was between the pool and the school building, and was really more of a corridor than a yard. There were flower beds placed at regular intervals where purple flowers bloomed. What were those flowers called? I didn't know. Purple flowers? I don't know. Lavenders? Are those flowers? I saw Yua standing in front of one of the flower beds, staring down at it while she waited. She was really here. She was really waiting for me. Not for anybody else. Just for me. Yua wasn't going to betray me. Maybe I could believe in her after all. Maybe she could save me. Yua looked up and noticed me. And then her eyes went wide in surprise. I stood there, looking away in embarrassment. I didn't know if it was okay to walk up to her or not. Why was she surprised? Did I mess up by coming? As I tried to figure out what to do, she ran up to me.
びっくりしました。
え？
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて。どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも待っててよかった。
I was surprised. She might have the same kind of mentality I did. The kind that was pessimistic about everything. But there was one big difference between Yua and me. I was pessimistic and didn't do anything. Yua was pessimistic, but took action. That was something I really respected about her. I wanted to be that way too, I thought.
一緒に帰ってくれますか?
I nodded in response to her question. Bro, she's gonna be a psychopath. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. She's gonna be a straight up fucking like psychopathic murderer or something. There is something about her. I feel it. I feel it. I mean, I'm into it, but God damn, man. This one's gonna be trouble. I think I really. uh, she and I headed for the school gate together. I felt kind of embarrassed. As we walked home, it felt like the other students were shooting me jealous glances. The more I started to notice people staring, the more I started to freeze up. I should have known there was no way I could walk home with a girl.
Mhm.
Oh shit, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, a teacher. I passed by a teacher I didn't recognize. Actually, the only reason I thought they were a teacher was that they were wearing a suit. But did we have any teachers that young? I rarely came to school, so of course I didn't know who our teachers were or what they looked like. Sometimes I even forgot my homeroom teacher's face. The teacher in the suit looked around, seemingly lost, before heading toward the school building.
どうしました？
I quickly shook my head and started walking alongside her again. The base was 10 minutes away from school, which was a bit farther than the train station as Shins and Yua used to go home. So I guess I was walking her home instead of the other way around. Out of sheer habit, I walked us through Shoto Park. Cutting through it diagonally shaved a minute or so off the commute.
西条くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか？
How long have you been watching him?
うん。
How did she know?
やっぱりよく見かけたんです。でもいる時といない時があって。
Bro, how long was she keeping her eye on him?
今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。
Oh my god, we're gonna find out that he has the key to the universe or some fucking bullshit like that, aren't we? And that all these girls are like part of different factions or something, and they're all gonna try to. It's a Spike Chunsoft game. It's gonna be something ridiculous.
あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。素朴な疑問だったので。
うん。
Yua suddenly stopped and looked over at the bench where I always ate breakfast. Right now, it was empty.
なんだかここに座っているあなたの背中はすごく辛そうに見えて。
He is sad. He's a sad boy. She suddenly leaned forward, just a little, and ran her fingers across the back of the bench.
何度も見かけるうちにだんだん気になってきて。
The bench was right in front of the fence, surrounding the lake. Since I always sat facing the lake, I didn't need to worry about anyone gazing at me. There was also a small watermill right next to it, which was another reason I liked it. It served to partially hide me.
ここ最近は姿を見かけなかった日は心配でご飯も喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Really? That's what I said. Really? I hadn't noticed her watching me at all.
バカみたいですよね。一度も話したこともない人の心配してるなんて。でも話しかける勇気もなかったので。
So that was why she was acting like a stalker at first. She wasn't a stalker. She was just really worried about me. Maybe.
ちょっと座ってみてもいいですか？西条くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか私も知りたいから。
I didn't really have a reason to say no. I nodded, still looking out at the lake. She put her bag on the bench and then quietly sat down. Then she sat upright, with good posture, looking at the lake. Yeah, unlike my posture. My posture is fucking dog shit. It was so quiet, so peaceful, and she was right there with me. The soft wind made ripples on the water and gently rustled through her hair. Was this what it was like to have a normal life? It was just a normal day, a normal situation. So why did it feel like I was about to cry?
ここで朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
I watched her from the side as she quietly spoke. If we were in an H game, this would totally be when I asked her to be my girlfriend. She'd say yes, we'd kiss, and that would be the good ending. Depending on the route, maybe we'd even engage in some naughty outdoor fun.
私も今度やってみようかな。
How about we like relax a little bit? You knew her for like a week. How about you chill out? She tilted her head to look up at me. Unable to speak, I turned my gaze toward her bag. As I stared at the 3 Garo Froggy straps on it, I cursed myself for being too lame to talk to a girl. Wait. Wait a second. Did I just see something? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. What do I do? What do you mean, did you just see something? Shit. What do I do? What do you mean did you just see something? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. 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 I mean, I could go any which way on this, right? Hang on. Let me yeah, how about you not fuck that up? Thank you. What do you mean did you just saw something? The Garo Froggies? Didn't we establish wait. So she was she next to them? So she was in the next room, right? Wait, what? Okay. Maybe we can hope. How about we do positive? Okay, I'm gonna go green. Oh god. I'm nervous. I'm fucking nervous. Okay, we're gonna go green. Did I just see something? What was I looking at? Garo Froggy. A character popular with high school girls. I'd seen it somewhere before. Where? I mean, this one you saw in room number 36. Oh, right. Nanami had the same strap on her phone. That was all. Oh no! Oh no! If I went red, would he have noticed that it was the same one in room 36? Oh no! Okay. I think I'm starting to understand how this delusion shit works. I might have just signed his death warrant. This might have actually been the bad thing to do. We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna stick with it. That's right. What was I thinking? Why did I feel so scared all of a sudden? I was just being a dork. Nanami said that Girl Froggy was really popular with teenage girls. It wouldn't be unusual at all for Yua to have some of that stuff. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Really, having a vivid imagination could be a handicap sometimes. It got exhausting. Be afraid of your own delusions.
西条くん？
She looked up at me, tilting her head. I quickly forced myself to smile back.
とそれ本当に流行ってるんだなって。
He might actually die now.
ゲロカエルン。
Huh? What kind of reaction is that? Why? Why do you look so tense? What's this music? Did I say something wrong? All I did was talk about Girl Froggy, so why? The smile disappeared from her face and she turned her head down, so I couldn't see what her expression was like anymore. The bad feeling hadn't gone away. The deja vu I'd felt since I'd seen the 3 Girl Froggies on her bag. Had I really seen them before? I'd seen 3 Girl Froggies somewhere before, and Yua was afraid that I'd remember where. A sense of distrust welled up within me and began to take control of my heart. Should I trust her or not?
ゲロカエル、西条くんも知ってるんですね。
Her voice was trembling.
本当に大人気ですよね。私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど。
What? Is she insecure about the frog?
何人かの友達からもらっちゃって気がついたら3つになってまして。
Her words were sounding more and more unnatural as she talked. She wasn't looking at me. She wasn't looking at me and smiling. A moment ago, she'd been so peaceful, so kind. I felt so hollow and empty. Please don't say another word, I whispered in my heart.
見せてあげましょうか。
She reached out toward her bag and tried to take the straps off.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
What the fuck is going on? Her hand was shaking a little. Maybe she was nervous because she couldn't get them off.
変だな。どうして外れないんでしょう。絡まっちゃってるのかな。
She finally yanked one off by force, knocking the bag off the bench. It hadn't been zipped up, so her notebooks and textbooks went spilling everywhere.
私ったら何をやってるんでしょう。
Just a few minutes ago, I would have thought the whole scene was very moe, but now all I could do was stare in shock because, by chance, one of the notebooks that fell to the ground had fallen open, and the small memos and newspaper clippings in it had scattered everywhere. It must have been some kind of scrapbook, because all the clippings and memos had to do with one subject. I could see it clearly. New Gen.
なんて。
My voice was hoarse. She was hurriedly trying to pick up the clippings and notes and stuff them back into her bag. She stood up, holding it tightly to her chest. Her smile was gone, replaced with an awkward expression.
それは。
She didn't answer me. Why don't you answer me? Come on, say something. If you don't answer, I'll think you're hiding something. And just when I was about to believe you, just when I thought you were going to be on my side, just when I was starting to believe that.
誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。
Bro. Sayora was right all along. All 3D girls were garbage. Even Yua didn't like me. She was just trying to get close to me for some reason of her own. Maybe she was going to turn me over to the police. Maybe she was going to threaten me. This was awful. Just awful. Just when I was so close to forgetting all about that murder. The cops had never come to say anything. I'd convinced myself that I'd never have to deal with it again. I didn't want to get involved. What was Yua after? I turned around so I could run. But Yua grabbed my wrist from behind.
逃げるの？
Her voice made me shudder. It was so cold I thought I might freeze. She didn't seem anything like the girl I've been talking to a moment ago. Oh! Oh, we're doing this now? We're doing this now? This is a lot sooner than I thought. And she was gripping my wrist with incredible strength. She was holding it so tightly that it was physically painful. I thought for a moment that she might crush my bones. It hurt so bad. I tried to shake her off, but she wouldn't let go. Instead, she pulled me closer, and I almost fell backwards.
逃げるの？
She whispered in an emotionless voice right behind me and right into my ear. I shivered and slowly turned around. Oh! I fucking knew it! The color in her eyes was insane.
逃がさないよ。
Oh my god, she's a psychopath!
騙してたことは謝るけど、お互い様だし。あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
Hiding something? There was only one thing I could think of. Somehow, for some reason, she knew that I'd witnessed the crucified corpse and the killer. Is she a cop? That's why she'd approached me. Do they have cops in high school? She really was a clever one. Everything she'd ever said to me was a lie. That she'd gotten curious about me when she saw me for the first time. That she liked Bloodtoon. That she wanted to go buy the Seder of Post-Awakening version figure on the day it came out with me. When she'd smiled at something when she'd said she wanted to get to know me better. When she said she was worried that I didn't come to school. Even when she said I'd impressed her by coming to school. It was all lies. I clenched my fists in rage and anger. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Why was I ever willing to believe her?
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。
Oh my fucking god. Why was it the frog? That's something I'm not understanding. Why would it be the frog? Mentioning the frog. Is it really just because she didn't want him to think that she was the one in room 36? Bro, this was the green one. What the fuck is a negative delusion?
あなたに聞いてもらいたい話があるの。聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよね。
Oh my gosh, she's threatening him.
あなたは聞くべきよ。聞いて。聞くでしょ。
Oh my god.
聞かないなら。
Yo, she's so scary right now. If I won't listen, then what? She was like a totally different person now. That peaceful, easygoing manner she'd had was completely gone. Now she looked cold and unapproachable, with a terrible intensity about her. Her words were cold as ice, as cold as death itself. The signs of weakness and helplessness she normally showed were nowhere to be found. I didn't want to hear those words. I tried to close my ears, but I couldn't. She still had my wrist in her grasp. She wasn't gripping it as tightly as before, but she still wouldn't let go. I couldn't move my hand. With her free hand, she reached into her bag and took something metallic and showed it to me. I gasped in shock. My heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest. My mind began to race. I had my free hand over my ear, but I let it drop, and I heard her voice, sounding slightly disappointed.
この十字架に見覚えあるよね。
Of course I did. I knew exactly what it was. It looked like a cross, but it was actually a stake. Not many stakes had such an elaborate design. At least, I'd only seen some once before. That night, scattered on the road. That night, pounded by the demon woman into the wall. That night, pinning the corpse to the wall.
やっぱり知ってるのね。知ってるんでしょ。知ってるに決まってる。知らないなんて言わせない。知ってなくちゃおかしい。
It's interesting that she keeps repeating herself in different ways.
知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
She wants you to answer her. I shook my head desperately. An awful sweat was forming on my brow. All I could do was try to wipe it off as I shook my head now. Why are you trying to lie to her?
これ。あなたの部屋にあったの。
Oh! Wow, she's so clever. Yeah, she found it and then she pretended that it was the porn that she saw. Yeah, oh wow.
あなたの部屋。ベッドの下。 床に落ちてた。落ちてたの。落としたよね。それとも捨てた？とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
When did she search my room? The day we first met? When I hurt my leg and she walked me home? When she was staring with shining eyes and a cute face at the Seda figure?
この杭、外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。
It's not made in Japan.
それと、ニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。
The third killing. So the first two didn't have it.
同じなの。
Yeah, so what was it? The first two was the 5 people that jumped off the building. And then I think the second one was the unborn baby that they found in a man's stomach.
同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
I was sure of it. This girl thought I was behind the New Gen killings. She thought I was the murderer. Was she trying to be some kind of detective? Yua Kusunoki, teen detective? You know what I thought? Die, bitch. I meant it too. They weren't just empty words. I mean, this stuff might have worked in an anime or a video game. But I knew that her theory had a fatal flaw. I'd seen the killer. I'd seen her with my own eyes, that demon. The girl whose name I didn't know. She wore a Suimei uniform. She was close.
だから
She looked down and sighed softly. Her grip relaxed, and at last I was freed.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないです。ただ、あなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What does she mean by yet?
それじゃあ、もう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
You mean the fucking pictures? The ability to see the future before it happens. This is distinct from the ability to predict the future, where one lays out what they think will happen based off of the information they have at hand. There is no scientific proof that it's possible to see the future. Different people manifest this ability in different ways. Some see the future in the form of flashbacks, and others see it in prophetic dreams. Psychics, fortune tellers, and ancient prophets are all said to possess this ability. Many con artists, however, claim to have it for the purposes of fraud.
は？
My jaw dropped. See the future? What the hell was she talking about? What did that have to do with the murder? I stood there, confused, as Yua reached into her bag and pulled out several full-color printouts.
予知能力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
Bro, did she hack his email? The girl photos that Shogun sent me. Why did Yua have them?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
違う。
I got those photos from some guy named Shogun that I'd never even met before that day. I didn't make them. They should still be in my download history. I know. I could show that to Yua. Wait, where did she get these? How did she know they were still in my computer's cache? When she came to my room, she wasn't there long enough to search my computer.
まさか君が将軍か。
Wait, really? Was she trying to set me up? No, I don't think so. Was Yua behind this whole thing? Was she one of the New Gen killers, trying to use me as a scapegoat to distract the police from the truth? I think she just hacked your email.
助けて。
This wasn't fair. Why me? Because I'm a creepy loser? Because I don't have any friends? Yua just shook her head silently.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。
Wait, why would it be in the PC?
あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけど、その機会はさすがにありませんでした。
He uses PC-37 for the other character. So how would it come up? The room next to room 37, the one I always use at cafe. She really did think she was some kind of detective. She looked just like the slightest bit sorry as she stared at me. For just a single second, she looked like the old Yua. She kept that expression on her face as she rustled through her bag again. This time she took out a sheet with printed text on it and offered it to me. I had an awful premonition. The logical part of my mind told me I shouldn't look. But I had to. If I didn't find some way to resist, they'd pin it on me.
それがあなたのすべてです。
Everything you are. Everything I was. Did she steal all my private information? Was she a hacker? My heart pounded as I looked at the printout. But instead of my private information, it was just a chat log.
Huh?
It was a log of Nightheart and Shogun.
そのログ、変ですよね。
え
What's strange? It was just a normal chat log. I remember the conversation I had with Shogun.
ナイトハルトと将軍の
You mean the fact that Shogun isn't replying to anything? And all Shogun did was send the links?
発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
Sunday and then Monday. 3:15, 3:18 in the morning, and then 7:58. So he was talking to Shogun as the other character? Was he suffering a delusion the whole time?
Oh.
Huh? What was this? What was going on?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条区。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時台。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条くんがアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメイトから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来
Oh
た
my
日は
goodness.
月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What? What was she talking about?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは、
Imcatcher, what's up, man? Welcome. I'm just freaking out right now. She paused for just a moment before looking right at me and delivering a cruel truth.
あなた一人の自作自演。
He was talking to himself?
将軍はあなた自身。
何も見たくない。
What? So he used the other computer? Yeah, I'm glad to see you here. Thanks for hanging out. Bro, how far does his delusions go? Jesus Christ.
何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
I turned on my computer and took a bite out of a fish sausage.
僕じゃない。
The Seidaton wallpaper came up on the monitor.
僕がいるべき世界は
I booted up ESO without the slightest hesitation.
ここじゃないんだ。
Bro, that's how we ended. Holy shit, that was the end of chapter 1. What the hell? But then, yeah, so then where the hell did he get those pictures? If he was sending it to himself? Anybody going on the field trip, get on. So I guess this is him. Are we about to see why he punishes himself so much? Takumi Nishijo lay on the tatami mat, a colored pencil in his hand. This time it was yellow. Just a few minutes ago, it had been red. He was happily scribbling with his pencil across the whole of his open sketchbook. Takumi liked to draw. Even during class, he was always scribbling something in the corner of his notebook. The TV was turned on, showing the morning news. For a fourth grader like him, though, the news was boring. He didn't look at it at all. Beep beep, you can't bring more than 300 yen for snacks. He was drawing a yellow bus and pretending he was the bus driver. The bus is full, so off we go. Whoosh! He envisioned the scene in his head as he put it onto the page. It wasn't uncommon for him to get too excited and let his pencil go off the sketchbook and onto the tatami mat. Whenever that happened, his little sister Nanami would yell, "Hey, don't mess up the mat!" She was a little brat, and he didn't care. He kept drawing anyway. When it came time to draw the passengers on the bus, he suddenly stopped. And then he ripped the sketchbook up. Yesterday, the day before he was supposed to go on the class's fall field trip, he'd suddenly been told by his parents that he couldn't go. He'd been looking forward to it for a long time. He'd been excited the whole day. So when his parents told him, he refused to accept it. He cried and said he was going to go no matter what, but it didn't matter. No matter what he said, his parents wouldn't listen. "We're saying this for your sake. It's impossible for you." That's all they would say. So he hid under his covers and got mad. So mad, he thought he might tear his blanket apart. He hated his parents from the bottom of his heart. That's how important, how critical the field trip was to little fourth grade Takumi. Everybody else got to go and he didn't. From his perspective, it was totally unfair. In his mind, there were two worlds. A lonely world where he was the only resident, and a fun world where everyone else got to be. He hated his teacher and his classmates for going without him. And he hated his parents for telling him he couldn't go. It wasn't long before that hatred boiled over. He bit his lips so hard it drew blood and began to mutter a curse over and over. I wish nobody got to go. The next morning, the phone started ringing really early. His mom would pick it up and answer it, seemingly shaken by something. She'd set it down, and a little later it would ring again. Takumi couldn't sleep at all. It was past 9 a.m. Nanami was sitting on the cushion reading manga. She'd said, "I'll stay home from school with you," the day before, and so there she was. His dad had gone into work and was nowhere to be seen. His mom was so busy answering the phone that she hadn't made breakfast. Today he didn't need to go to school. Glumly, he began to draw in his sketchbook. So why would his parents not let him go to school. But it did nothing to help assuage his anger, and just when he'd ripped it up in frustration,
あれこのバス
there was a note of worry in Nanami's voice. He thought she was talking about his picture, but her eyes were glued to the TV set.
ねえお母さん
Suddenly, she called out for their mom, who was still talking on the phone. Takumi looked disinterestedly over at the TV. It was showing a collapsed bridge on the highway. Only a small 50-meter section of the bridge had collapsed. A bus had been traveling right over the bridge at the time and had fallen through the hole. It was the bus Takumi was supposed to have been on. It was the one his classmates were all on. In a single instant, Takumi was able to envision almost everything that had happened. His classmates were all there. Some were crying. Some had faces covered in blood. One was being carried off in a stretcher. A reporter was explaining the accident with a stern expression on his face, but Takumi couldn't understand what he was talking about.
タクちゃん大変よ
His mom was standing in the room's doorway, holding the phone in her hand and looking deathly pale.
遠足のバスが高速道路で事故に遭っちゃったんだってそれ今テレビでやってるそれで斉藤先生が
Dead. For some reason, Takumi was sure of it. Because everything he was seeing on the TV was just like the scene he'd envisioned last night in his frustration and anger. In his mind, there was only a single thought, a strange certainty that he had the ability to see the future. He remembered a TV program he'd seen years ago about whether psychic powers were real or not. There was a psychic on the show who could see the future and put their powers to incredible use during the test the show had given. At the time, it was a huge deal. In the test, 12 items were put into 12 boxes numbered 1 to 12, and they had to guess which one would be put in which. The psychic would be in another room before anything happened and make their guesses there. Afterward, the show staff would put the items into the boxes and the results would be checked. Astonishingly, the psychic was 90% accurate, amazing the rest of the cast. Takumi had been watching the show, and he'd made his own predictions as well. Every single one was right. Of course, he'd never told anybody this. But that's why now he thought that he'd foretold the crash unfolding on the screen.
クラスの半数以上の子が怪我したらしくてはあなんてこと
His mother tried to reach down and pick him up, but he slid past her and crawled to the corner of the room.
でも本当によかったわ
She whispered in a hollow voice, her gaze wandering around the room.
今日タクちゃんを休ませておいて本当によかった
Takumi felt like he was about to throw up. It was all rotten, he thought. What good was seeing the future? In that moment, he felt his heart turn cold. For a while, he didn't talk to anyone. He became completely silent. He didn't say a single word to a single person. His parents were already overprotective, but this only made it worse. He gradually started to find them ridiculous, began to keep up his silent act deliberately. That was his way of getting back at his parents, he thought. He was so quiet that they took him to a psychiatrist at a general hospital. He was diagnosed with PTSD. Of course, he didn't have PTSD, so he never took the medicine they gave him. He just pretended to take it. Oh, jeez. His parents never picked up on the act, and even when he saw how worried and miserable they looked, he didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. It all felt like a lie. Bro, what the fuck, man? The whole world was filled with fiction. It was filled with evil. Evil that was out to get me.
いつもあなたが使っているチャットルームへログインして 自分で調べてみてください。私の言っていることが間違っていないってわかるはずです。それと、私が言ったことは全部本心です。これだけは信じて。
So she did actually want to be his friend? After her bizarre speech, she added that last sentence and then left. Of course, I couldn't believe her. How could I believe her when she lied to me? The everything I was that she showed me was something I refused to accept, no matter what. I wanted to believe there was no way I could be Shogun. But from the timestamps on the chat log, it was clear that the conversation didn't make sense.
僕は無遊病なの？
Sleepwalking? Also known as somnambulism or noctambulism. Sufferers of this disorder will get up from bed while sleeping, especially during non-REM sleep, and engage in activities such as wandering around the house, eating, or bathing. They cannot, however, engage in any but the simplest of conversations. Each case is different, but generally this state lasts around 30 minutes before the person goes back to bed and returns to sleep. The sufferer is completely unconscious at all points and has no memory of their actions. Sleepwalking is most commonly seen in people with other mental issues, and it's believed that stress is the cause. At the time that Shogun had sent these messages, I hadn't been asleep. I'd been at Cafe, sure, but I hadn't been asleep. I couldn't have been sleepwalking. Then why didn't I have any memories at all of writing these comments as Shogun? Was my body under somebody else's control? The very idea was ridiculous. I decided what I needed to escape from all of the lies was some good old ESO, my other fictional world. In ESO, everything was a lie. It was just a game after all. But in Baselard, I could be Nightheart, a godlike being. If only the lies and fictions could be like this. I could accept that reality. I wanted to be here forever. What's wrong with that? Or maybe ESO's world was the real one, and this one was the fake. This one was the game. Takumi Nishijo was just a fictional character, and my true identity was Nightheart.
ねえ、ナイトハルト。
I called out to the paladin on the screen. Am I controlling you? Or are you controlling me? Are you the real person, and I'm the avatar? What if the world I'm in is a game? If that was the case, it would explain everything. If somebody was staring at me right now, just like how I was staring at Nightheart, whose eyes are those? The answer to that question would be the player controlling me. If that was the case, then I wish they'd stop sucking at the game so much, but an avatar doesn't get to complain. It would explain how Shogun and I could be the same person. It was like with Lisolat. Lisolat and Nightheart couldn't exist in Baseout at the same time. They both had the same player, me. Maybe in the same way, Takumi Nishijo and Shogun couldn't both exist in this world at the same time. Or maybe it was like a bug. Speaking of bugs, maybe these strange women appearing in the murder cases were all bugs too. The images Shogun sent me flashed through my mind, and I winced. I shook my head desperately. I wanted to run away from everything. If there is a player controlling me, then please reset the game. Just start over from character creation. The waiting room at the university hospital was filled to overflowing with old people waiting for their exams. Nothing had changed since I'd first come here several years ago. It was as if time itself had stopped. Everyone wore a gloomy expression. Between that and the stench of disinfectant, the air was heavy and stale. 5 minutes in this room was enough to make you want to kill yourself. I didn't like hospitals. The lobbies were filled with people, but once you went down the hallway, it felt like you were completely alone. They'd always really scared me. It felt like the hallways were full of the stench of death. It always seemed to me that death was the true face of a hospital, and if you went further down the hallways, you'd find even more terrifying, awful secrets. So, to tell the truth, I didn't want to come, but there was something I had to know, and so I had no choice but to sit here, waiting for my exam. Even while I was playing ESO, the words Yua had said kept spinning through my mind, and I couldn't concentrate at all. I ended up staying awake all night, imagining all kinds of terrible things. I started to get really scared of there being something wrong with me. At last, I decided to go to a hospital so I could get a doctor to tell me I was completely normal. I wanted to prove that Yua was the crazy one, not me. You know what? You know what? That's really big of him to do, actually. Not everybody would take the time and the effort to go to a doctor for a mental health evaluation. Even though there are a lot of people who fucking should, he went and did it himself. That is something. That's something to pay attention to. I was used to coming to the psych ward of this hospital. When the lady at the front desk had asked me if it was my first time here, I nodded without thinking about it. But it wasn't my first time at all. Ever since the bus accident, my parents had taken me here on a regular basis. When I got to middle school, my doctor told me I was completely cured, and I'd stopped going. It'd been about 4.5 years since I last came here. Okay. So, the green isn't always necessarily a good thing, I think. Or, maybe it is. I mean, maybe it is. Well, it's not always a good thing. There was that one thing with with his sister that was creepy as hell. But okay, I have to think about what's going on. The first doctor took a look at me was an old man who was supposedly an authority in his field, but he'd only talked to me the first few times before handing me off to one of his students. Of course, his student was that much younger either. If anything, he looked older than the first one. Okay, let me think. So when I did green with Yua, I think I'm thinking if I went either one, she still would have told him everything. I think the main difference with it is either he thinks of the frog strap, the Garo Froggy that his sister had, or the red one probably would have been that he remembered seeing the bag in room 36. So it could be that either way we would have still gotten the same result. So he's here because he wants the doctor to tell him that he's fine. So I'm actually starting to suspect that the green is him trying to convince himself of something good or something that he thinks is good or trying to avoid something, maybe more specifically it's to avoid something that he doesn't want to face. Cuz even in the context of his sister, the way that that played out when I picked the green option, maybe the red option was more like he didn't want to have a certain conversation with her. And so to him, it was better off having that weird delusion of her having an interest in him. So if I pick green, maybe he has a delusion of them telling him he's fine. But if I pick red, it might actually be a delusion of him being told the truth. But then what would neutral? Wait, who the fuck is that guy behind him? There's a guy with glasses and a suit. Bro, what the fuck? Alright, I'm about to get an ad. Let's run the ad and then we'll be back. And I'm going to think about this some more. Why the fuck is there a guy in a suit behind him? What the hell is that? Okay. We should be back now. It's really weird that there's a fucking guy in a black suit with sunglasses standing there. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to make of that. Okay. So it's been a while since I did a red delusion. I'm wondering if the red one would be more in line with him coming to terms with what's going on. Or maybe it's something that's a little more close to reality. Because it's also based on his perspective, I think. What would he as a character think is a negative or a positive? Because that's apparently what it is. Green is like apparently a positive delusion, and then red is a negative delusion. But what would that mean for him? And it could be either way. It ends up being the same thing anyway. So I think it's been a while since I did red, so I'm going to go with red. We're going to see what happens. That doctor, Dr. Takashina, had said something to me that I'd remembered last night.
ここは病気や怪我だけじゃなくて心にも効く病院なんだよ。
Treats the heart. I didn't like the hospital, but he was really nice, and he seemed like a really good guy. Not that this had stopped me. I'd kept up my act of deceiving the adults. It was Dr. Takashina who had seen through my deception, though, and had given me an official diagnosis of completely cured.
あの人に調べてもらえれば。
What would he say if he knew I'd grown up to be a creepy otaku? No, he probably didn't even remember me. Here we go. Uh-oh. It's all wobbly. It wasn't long at all before I was called into the exam room. I thought I'd be asked to wait longer, but that wasn't the case at all. What about all those people in the lobby? Wait. So red is wobbly and green isn't? I don't think I remember. Was green wobbly at all? I don't think it was. Huh. What about all those people in the lobby? Maybe they were all fakes put there by the hospital to make it look busy. It was a different exam room than the one I'd been seeing in 4 years ago, but I recognized how he welcomed me when I came in.
やあ、西条くん。
He remembered him. Dr. Takashina was looking at me with a cheerful smile. Nothing had changed since I'd last come here 4 years ago. Feeling relieved, I just let loose with everything I was feeling.
先生、助けて。
Is this the first time he's asked someone for help like this?
どうしたんだい？
変な女が僕にストーカー行為を。このままじゃ学校にも行けないし、家にも一度来られて場所知られてるから安心できないし。
落ち着いて。
落ち着いてなんていられないよ。あの女異常だ。僕は正常なんだ。それに岩だけじゃない。悪魔女だって。そうだ、悪魔女が真犯人なんだ。
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is still delusion, so I mean, we don't know if this is actually happening.
真犯人
ニュージェネの犯人だよ。間違いないんだ。僕は事件現場で死体を貼り付けにしてる最中のあの女を見たんだ。
Wow, he's just saying everything.
大丈夫だ。何も心配いらないから。とにかく落ち着こう。いいね。
I fell silent. I didn't understand what was fine. But if a professional, a doctor, especially Dr. Takashino, said so, I must be fine. That's what I told myself. I was getting so excited that I was having trouble breathing. I took a moment to catch my breath. He was staring at me with a grave look on his face. He seemed really serious.
本当に大丈夫なの？
もちろんだよ。
あんな危ない女が僕を、狙ってるのに、なんでそう言い切れるの？
理由を知りたいかい？
I nodded, and he sighed a little. He was fiddling a little with the pen in his hand as he spoke.
なぜなら、
Oh,
君の言っている女の人は
oh God. Oh fuck.
この世には存在しないからだよ。
No! No, that's not true. That is not fucking true. This is part of the delusion. This is part of the delusion.
でも
君は自分の妄想に怯えているだけなんだ。
His voice was eerily kind. My body was shaking. It wouldn't stop. Why? He was being so kind.
西条くん、君はその女の人には会っていない。わかるね？
Nah, this isn't real. This is not real at all. That's why it's all wibbly wobbly. So this isn't happening at all. Huh. Interesting.
わからないよ。
じゃあ、もっと具体的に言おうか。君はその女の人には会えるはずがないんだ。もう7年間も君はこの病院から
Get the fuck out of here.
一歩も
Get the fuck out of here.
外に出ていないんだ。
Get
ね
get the fuck out of here, bro. Ain't no fucking way. No. Nuh-uh. Ain't no fucking shot, bro. Are you insane? Ain't no, bro. No. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking shot. No fucking shot. What did he mean? Huh? What was he saying?
君はこの病院の精神科に7年間入院している。
Nah, man.
そのことはわかるだろう？
Mm-mm. I don't understand. I can't understand. Why was he telling me this crazy stuff with a smile on his face? I looked down at the clothes I was wearing. When I'd come here, I was wearing a Seda t-shirt and a long-sleeve denim shirt over it. I was wearing my only pair of jeans too. So why was I now wearing a hospital gown? It was a pale green one-piece gown, a simple one that tied in the front with a string. I wasn't wearing pants beneath it. When had I changed clothes?
ここは閉鎖病棟だからお見舞いの人も来ない。
Ain't no fucking shot, man.
入院患者さんも男女で別フロアに分けられていて行き来はできない。精神科の看護師は全員男だし、君の病室は完全に個室。窓もない。つまり君は7年間女性と接触したことがないんだ。思い出したかな？
Ain't no fucking shot, bro. No, this isn't. He's not. This isn't real. Ain't no fucking way. This ain't no way. I'm pretty sure because it's wobbly, it means that it's not happening. It's not happening. No, it wasn't true. I wasn't locked up in some hospital room. I lived alone in Shibuya. I was a top-ranked player in ESO. I even went to school 2 or 3 times a week. And I talked to the nurse at the front desk just a minute ago. Is this your first time here? Yes. Then please fill out this form.
嘘に決まってる。
本当にそう思うのかい？
He wrote something on my chart as he whispered. I couldn't read what he was writing. It wasn't Japanese. English? No, German?
だとしたら君の精神はまだ異常だっていうことだよ。もうしばらくは入院が必要だね。
He glanced at me. His eyes were filled with pity. He'd never looked at me like that before. I fell to my knees helpless. The tears came quickly. Fuck me. Did I save the game? I don't think I did. If this ends up being like an ending, I'm gonna have to reload and pick the same I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's not an ending. I fell to my knees helpless. The tears came quickly. Oh, now I see. That's right. All of my memories were just delusions of mine. I was the abnormal one. I was the crazy one. What an awful ending. But, well, didn't even matter now. Even if the memories were just a delusion, they weren't particularly good ones anyway. And I could just create new ones, right? Maybe I could have a world where nothing scary happened. I could be social and outgoing and get good grades. Girls would love me. All my friends would be girls who looked good enough to be models. And they'd all be in love with me. And then I could suggest that we live under the same roof. That would be the beginning of fun, bittersweet, and slightly crazy days for me. He fucking wants to be the man of his own harem. Bro, I just got an early ending. I forced myself to laugh. It didn't really work. My expression froze up. I wanted to die. It's not an ending. What the fuck? So what does that mean? If Jesus Christ. What does that mean then if I pick neutral? Does neutral mean no delusions? Or is that just an extra scene? My body was soaked with a terrible sweat. A cold chill ran down my spine. I started looking around the room, unsure of what had just happened. There was an old, hunched-up woman sitting next to me. Her eyes were buried so deep in her wrinkles that I couldn't tell if she was awake or not. I looked up at the clock above the reception counter and saw that I'd been here in the lobby for over an hour. Was that just a dream? Had I fallen asleep while I was waiting, since I hadn't slept at all last night? I sighed deeply. What an awful dream. It was a dream, right? I tried to remember my life until yesterday. It was okay. My memories were all connected. I'd encountered the demon girl at the crime scene, and then Yua had lied to me and threatened me. And then I'd come to this hospital to prove I was sane. Yeah, it was all fine. I would have preferred it if it was all a delusion, of course. Maybe I would have been happier if I could have made a new world and had a lot of fun with it. I was just that sick of this world. In the end, I waited another 2 hours before they finally called my name. When I went into the exam room, it was the same as I'd seen in my dream. I thought for a minute I was back in the dream again. Dr. Takashina looked at me like he just like he had in my dream too. Maybe he just hadn't changed much over the past 4 years.
今日はどうしました？
He didn't start by telling me that all my memories were delusions, but
あの西条です。
ん？おお、これはご丁寧に。
he doesn't remember him.
高階です。はじめまして。
He bowed to me. I couldn't say anything. Nice to meet you. That's what he had just said. He'd forgotten me. It made sense. It had been 4 years after all. But I thought that he of all people would remember me. I kind of had that hope, whether it was fair or not. When that hope was shattered, it just made me sadder. It felt like I didn't matter. He looked in my eye as he spoke, but I looked away.
無遊病かどうか調べてほしいと書いてあるが、何かあったのかな？
That's right. That's what I'd said on the form. But it didn't matter now. If he didn't even remember me.
別にいいじゃん。
Oh, Jesus.
先生が覚えてようが覚えてなかろうが関係ないっしょ。最初の目的を忘れちゃダメ。
Wait, that was encouraging. I hadn't come here to see Dr. Takashina. I'd come to prove that I was normal. Seeing him again was just a bonus. What did it matter if he forgot me? If Seira-tan hadn't reminded me, I might have broken down right there. You.
自分でも知らないうちに外に出かけててパソコンで文章打っててそれを全く覚えてないなんてありえますか？
Bro, he sounds like he's on his fucking last legs. Like he's about to break down completely.
おお、
知り合いからそう指摘されて混乱しちゃって。
その知り合いの人が冗談を言っているっていう可能性はあると思うかい？
Yua's eyes had been dead serious. She didn't look like she was teasing me or anything. If nothing else, she certainly seemed to believe what she was saying.
わかりません。
なるほど。ちなみにその知り合いとはどういう関係だろう？
He was
恋
hoping.
人？
What was this guy talking about? What did that have to do with anything?
いや、言い方が悪かったかな。じゃあ言い直そう。その知り合いの人は君が意識もないまま歩き回っているのを実際に目撃したのかな？
Oh, was that what he meant? I shook my head.
じゃあ証拠はないわけだ。
I shook my head again.
そいつ探偵気取りっていろいろ証拠を突きつけてきて。
うん、そういうことか。ちなみにこれまでにも無遊病の兆候はあったかい？
いえ。
朝目覚めたらいつものベッドじゃなくて違う場所で寝てたっていうことは過去に一度でもあった？
いえ。
じゃあその知り合いに言われたのが初めてっていうことだね。
I nodded weakly before forcing myself to speak.
僕、寝てないんです。
もしかして怖いのかな？でもそんなに深刻になる必要はないよ。
いや、
That wasn't it. That wasn't what I wanted to say. But I wasn't sure how to explain it, and I couldn't get my thoughts together in my head. I lost my chance to speak. He scribbled something in his chart before spinning around to turn away from me, and then leaned forward toward the back of the exam room.
葉月くん、ちょっと。
はい。
A young nurse came over. The doctor showed her my chart and said something softly to her, and then she quickly went back further into the room. What was that about? He turned to face me again. Then, in a gentle tone, he explained to me what sleepwalking was. When someone falls asleep, he said, first they enter REM sleep, and then non-REM sleep. REM sleep was when the body was asleep, but the brain was close to fully awake. Non-REM sleep was a deeper sleep when the brain also rested.
無遊病はノンレム睡眠の時に起きやすいって言われてる。脳が通常の活動をしていないから普通の受け答えとかは成立しにくいけど、ちゃんと返事もするし、階段などを踏み外さずに上り下りすることだってできる。原因としては精神的なストレスを抱えてる時になりやすいんだ。子供に多い症状だけど、成人でもよくある症状なんだよ。これでわかっただろ？深刻になることはないって言った意味が。
But I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping, and yet I was still doing things I didn't remember. The whole time I'd been supposedly typing into that chat as Shogun in room 37, I thought I'd been playing ESO. Was that what you'd call sleepwalking? I wanted to ask, but the doctor just kept talking.
無遊病かどうかを調べる方法としてはいくつかある。一番手っ取り早いのはここのベッドで寝てもらうことだね。ただ特定条件じゃないと発生しない場合もあるかもしれない。例えば自分のベッドじゃないとダメとか。意識がない状態で出歩くにしても目的もなくふらふらと歩き続けるのか、それとも何らかの脅迫観念があってそれに影響されて何らかの一連の目的を持って出歩いているのか。それに君の精神状態についても特定の条件下じゃないとダメかもしれない。自宅のベッドの上ならリラックスできるけど、ここじゃリラックスのしようがないわけだ。どうする？とりあえず寝ていってみるかい？
It wouldn't hurt to try. I could make sure I wasn't sleepwalking, then ask him the question I'd come to ask. The nurse, Hazuki, led me to a bed in the back. It wasn't meant for sleeping, so it was hard and uncomfortable. Still, it was better than the sofa I was used to sleeping on.
3時間くらいしたら起こしに来ますから。
Is 3 hours enough? This nurse was really cute. I lay on the bed, glancing at her while trying to make sure our eyes didn't meet. She had a somewhat young, helpless-looking face, and the air of someone whose life wasn't really working out the way they wanted it to. Still, she went about her work quickly and steadily. She felt like one of the girls from an old H game, one set in a hospital with... Fuck you! Fuck you, bro! I'm not saying... What the f...
できるだけ目は離さないようにしていますので、安心して眠ってくださいね。
When I do the YouTube video, I'm gonna have to see how to fucking block that word. Ain't no fucking way, man. Are you kidding me? I'll make sure to keep an eye on you as best I can, so don't worry about a thing, just get some sleep. In other words, she'd be watching to make sure I didn't get up and start walking around.
それではごゆっくり。
She smiled a little before closing the curtains and leaving. Surrounded by the white curtains, I let out a deep breath. I could hear lots of things. The voice of the doctor as he examined his patients, the other nurses walking around, even the door as it opened and closed. It was pretty hard to relax. Could I really sleep like this? Tried to close my eyes just to see if it would work. The second I did, the girl images that Shogun sent and the sight of the corpse nailed to the wall came flooding back to me. I forced myself to think of Seiratan instead.
タッキー、外出嫌いなのに病院来るなんてすごい。
Okay, well, I gotta save now. I didn't save the last one. Okay. So the red. So when I went red, what he wanted, he was hoping that he could actually talk to the doctor. And he wound up not being able to talk to the doctor when I picked red. If I went neutral, would he have actually been able to speak to the doctor? Or if I went green, would he have actually been able to say what he wanted to say? So now it's Sarah.
私前から思ってたんだけどさ、タッキーって実はすごく強い男の子だよね。
So what would it mean for this to be a red or a blue? What would he want? Well, I guess what he would want is to be able to ask his question. Or maybe would he actually want to be told that he was sleepwalking? And maybe that's what a positive delusion would be. Because what would the red be? Well, that would be a real delusion. It would get wobbly, I think. I'm pretty sure. So what would it mean for it to be a negative delusion? I mean, it could very well be that. Well, it's Sarah. What would Sarah have to do with this? Sarah, he's dreaming about Sarah right now. What would be a negative delusion with Sarah? She's complimenting him. She's saying that she always thought he was really strong. My delusion, she was happily bouncing up and down. Next, she whispered to me in a sweet voice. If it was positive, would she just keep saying that he's strong and that he did good? I don't know how many times I can progress before I miss the chance to pick something. Because then otherwise it just ends up being neutral. I mean, if it's Sarah, maybe I can just go with the positive delusion. Or would a negative? I'm trying to think, what would it mean for Sarah to be in a positive delusion? I think the positive thing would be either that he can actually get the maybe she gives him the courage to ask the question he wanted to ask. And then that could lead to him getting some answers. Or it could very well be that he's convinced that he was sleepwalking, and so he could just ignore it, what was going on. The only other red that I did was the very first one. That was the one when Misumi asked if he wanted to go to the alley where there was a body or something. And I picked red because I thought it meant no. I was like, no, I don't want to go. But then it ended up going to the alley anyway, and that was where we saw the body of a cat. And that ended up being the delusion. And the other time I did green, the first time I did green was with his sister. And that was when it got creepy. He didn't want her there. And so it went green as a way to, I think, avoid really interacting with her. And then the other green was with Yua. when he saw the Garo Froggies, and instead of remembering that they were in the room 36, he remembered his sister's Garo Froggy. But he still ended up hearing about the Shogun thing anyway. If I do neutral, it could just end up being like a regular dream. And then he wakes up and then they're like, nope, you didn't sleepwalk. If I do green, he might fall further in his delusions about Sarah. Actually, could it be that if I do red, he might actually like start to wake up? I don't know. Red seems to be like a really bad it gets really bad with red. Like it just straight up isn't like happening. I feel like either one he could fall further into his delusions. Let me see, can I get another dialogue?
私
Okay.
そんなタッキーの強さが好き
If I do positive delusion, I think he might lean more into believing what she's saying. And if I do the red delusion, he might reject it. So the green one might actually lead to him speaking with the doctor. Because he's like, I love how strong you are. So then he would be like, I can ask the question. And if it's red, he probably won't ask the question. And then they just let him go. That's probably... I could be completely wrong, right? I'm still trying to figure out how this works. But it could be like that. So if I pick green, maybe it would actually get closer to figuring something out. We're gonna do green.
それにタッキーは無遊病なんかじゃないよ私毎日タッキーのこと見てるもんだからわかるんさ三次元女になんか騙されちゃダメだぞタッキーには私がいるっしょ
This is actually kind of bad too, and it's all, there's like it's positive, it's quote unquote positive and negative, but they're both fucking bad, man.
またあのコンテナハウスで二人きりで過ごそうねボケなす
Seda, you're so cute, Seda. Seda was my ideal wife after all. No girl could ever be better than her. 3D? Who cares about 3D? I couldn't wait to go home. Seda would be waiting for me with a big smile and a welcome home. So what's so interesting is that it looks like it's like... Would it just flip on its head if I were to do this right now? I don't know. I'm gonna stick with it, but I wonder if it would just completely flip on its head if I were to just switch. Just wait, Seida-tan. I'll be coming for you.
帰らなくてもいいよ
どういうこと？
迎えに来たから
Her whispered voice sounded so real. I felt her poking my cheek. At least it kind of felt like that. I slowly opened my eyes.
おはよボケなす
Who the fuck is this? And it's wibbly wobbly as well, even though we picked green. Next time I met, I saw Seida-tan. Pre-transformation. Seida Amonagawa version. Okay, so yeah, he's fucking Delulu right now. She wasn't 1/8 scale. She was full-sized, and she moved smoothly and realistically. I gulped and sat up, poking the life-size Seida-tan in the... She wasn't a figure. It was really her. Seida-tan had come to the 3D world.
なんなんここは二次元だよ
2D. Huh? It is. Even though they're so soft.
二次元的にプニプニなんさ
In a 2D way. Sure. I didn't know what that meant, but fuck it. That's all. But fuck it. I realized belatedly that I suddenly got really embarrassed. The life-size Seda was really cute. I could just die of moe. But she was so realistic too. That's why I suddenly felt guilty and worried that she might hate me for it.
ごめんセイラタン。
タッキーならいいよ。
本当？
Oh my god, I am regretting picking green.
他の人にはこんなことされるのは嫌だけどさ。
Guys, I am fucking regretting picking green.
特に進むとか。あいつに胸触られたら金棒で月までぶっ飛ばしちゃってる。
Yeah, Susumu, that asshole.
静かに。声出すと看護師さんたちに見つかっちゃうっしょ。
Yeah, you're dreaming right now. Seda-tan seemed to be paying close attention to what was going on outside the curtain. She took off her shoes and quietly got up on the bed with me, being careful not to make a sound. She lifted herself onto my lap. Oh, I bet you wish. I almost said something, but quickly put my mouth. Listen, this is a delusion, right? So, like, whatever. Seda-tan was sitting on my lap, brushing up against my crotch. Oh no. Oh god. Put her face up close to mine. She smelled good, so this was what Seda-tan smelled like.
ねえねえ、タッキー。
Oh Jesus. I'm so
タッキーも二次元になっちゃうべきだよ。
You should become 2D now. What does she mean?
タッキーはまだ三次元なんさ。だから私が二次元にしてあげる。
Okay, I'm actually like really scared right now.
いいっしょ。
Could she do that?
できるよ。それにすっごく気持ちいいよ。
I'm like really scared right now. I could hear the sound of the nurses walking around outside and of the doctor talking to another patient. The only thing separating me from them was a single curtain. If it was opened, everyone would see us. The excitement and guilt I felt from doing something like this at a hospital was making me dizzy. Especially since you're not doing anything with my absolute favorite wife. Oh, I was so happy. I couldn't think about anything else. I just nodded my assent.
そうこなくっちゃ。そんなタッキーが好き。
She pressed her lips against mine. They were so soft. Was this 2D softness too? Maybe they were softer than real ones? My brain wasn't keeping up with these sudden H-game developments. All I could do was sit there. As I sat in confusion, Seda-tan's tongue slipped between my lips. I felt so much pleasure, I thought I'd go crazy. Who knew a kiss could feel so good? I wanted her luscious tongue to keep having its way with my mouth forever. I wrapped my hands around her waist, but her body was flat because she was It was soft, but what is that? What does that mean? Like, I'm having a hard time imagining that. Her body was flat, but it was soft, but flat. Like, I don't know what that means. Kissing paper? But it still felt so good that I didn't care. I was so overcome that I couldn't even think about it. Seda-tan was so hot. Bro, it's right in my ear. She sucked on my tongue. I felt like I was about to die. I couldn't take it. Bro, oh my god, it's right inside my ear, bro. Ugh. Starting to hurt. Yeah, mate. Maybe you got a paper cut. The suction coming from her mouth was incredible. I tried to pull my tongue back, but I couldn't. She sucked harder. What the fuck is that sound? My tongue was being pulled forward so hard I thought it might tear. Guys, I'm like fucking really scared right now. What the fuck does that mean? Not just my tongue. The back of my throat burned. My eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. I couldn't breathe. My chest hurt. I felt like my stomach was being turned inside out. She sucked harder? Seda-tan was sucking up everything. My organs, my flesh, my bones. I could feel my beating heart pounding as it came up to my throat. I could hear the thick arteries connecting to his... What the fuck am I reading? It was an impossible feeling. The pain was unbearable, but more than that, it felt good. My whole body had become an erogenous zone, literally every inch of me. Not just my skin, but the inside of my throat, my heart, my blood vessels, my lungs, my intestines. Sayatan had her way with my body, sucked it up. Being eaten by her felt so good, made me so happy that I felt that it might pass out. I was going to die. I was going to die of pleasure. Seda-tan let go, satisfied after sucking up everything inside my body. A mix of blood and drool was dripping from her lips.
タッキーのすごく美味しかった。
She smiled seductively. I didn't have the strength to answer. She'd taken everything from me. I'd never felt such incredible pleasure. I couldn't even think. My mind felt like it was in a thick fog. I had trouble forming coherent thoughts.
ほら、タッキー、自分の体見てみて。タッキーもこれで二次元の住人だよ。
Unsteadily, I lowered myself off the bed. My body was flat like hers now. It was hard to walk. I felt unsteady and soft, and couldn't stand up. I fell to my knees, and then collapsed to the ground without a sound. Sayatan, I can't get up. Help me. I heard her voice from up on the bed.
二次元へようこそ。
Bro, that was fucking supposed to be a positive delusion? I am not understanding what the fuck they mean by a positive and a negative. I think we're almost done with this scene. What the fuck? I leapt up, only to find myself still on the bed. My heart was pounding so fast. My heart was still in my chest. I patted myself all around my body. It wasn't flat. I was still 3D. Seda-tan was nowhere to be seen. Of course she wasn't.
夢か。
Bro, that's something else. I wasn't sure if that had been a good dream or a bad one. Literally, like, what the fuck does it mean? A green or a red? I let out an unconscious sigh. What I had just experienced was right out of a doujinshi I'd bought. A blood tune won by Circled Piru Piru. I must have used that doujinshi as a basis for my delusions. Wait, that was her sucking out someone's organs and shit from the mouth? That was like a doujinshi plot? What the fuck are you reading? Why didn't I realize while I was in the dream? I knew, of course, that you never knew you were in a dream while you were in one, but it still bothered me.
西条さん
I heard a voice call me from behind the curtain. It quickly opened and I saw the nurse from before, Hazuki.
おはようございます
I looked down and bowed to her slightly and silently.
結局3時間ぐっすりでしたね
Huh? It's been 3 hours already? I hadn't really kept track of time because of that crazy dream, but I must have been really tired.
少しうなされていたみたいですけど大丈夫
Yeah, I would call it a nightmare. I couldn't tell her that it was a not. I'm starting to feel like I'm taking crazy pills. What the fuck do you mean naughty? Bro. What part of that was naughty? That is not the word I would use. Horrifying? Psychotic? I would use those words. Naughty? I was a little ashamed of my libido, to be honest. What the fuck are you talking about? Libido? What part? Is he talking about just the kissing? Or is he talking about the other stuff? Is that a thing? You know, I don't even want to know. I actually don't even want to know. I really don't want to know.
でも無遊病の症状は結局出ませんでしたよ
Her tone was reassuring.
まあ今日はたまたま症状が出なかっただけかもしれないから無遊病でないっていう断定はできないですけど
No, I'm not a sleepwalker. I needed to ask the question I came here before. But I didn't see the doctor. Hazuki offered me a sheet of paper. I looked at it. There were various questions for me to answer.
それはあなたの心理状態を把握するためのチェックシートです心理テストのようなものねそれを書いてくれたら今日はもう帰っていいって先生が
先生は
ごめんなさいずっと診察が続いてて来週まで様子を見てまだ改善が見られないようならもう一度来てくださいって
To be fair, he wasn't my personal physician or anything like that. He'd probably just given Hazuki, his nurse, instructions for me. But then what was the point of even coming to this hospital? I wanted to ask about the awful possibility that I was being controlled by somebody who wasn't me. But Hazuki looked so apologetic that I didn't have the courage to demand to see the doctor. I decided to just fill out the worksheet she'd given me. I'd write out the symptoms I was experiencing on the back, I decided. Then I could come back next week to talk to him again.
チェックシートは質問に対してイエスかノーかだけを答える簡単なものですから当てはまる点があったらイエスにチェックしてくださいね
Am I gonna do it?
今後の西条さんの治療に対する参考にしますからじっくり考えて答えてください
Hazuki was kind enough to give me a full explanation. Some of the questions on the test were weird. Not the sorts of things you'd expect to be asked at a hospital. It was almost like one of those online personality quizzes. What would answering these questions tell them? Hazuki was staring at me. She wasn't getting ready to leave. It didn't seem like she had nothing better to do. She was observing me. No, watching over me. Being watched made me nervous. And so it was hard to think about the questions, but I suppose that was just a nurse's job. I decided to just forget it and fill out the sheet. Okay, so I'm doing all of them. When you talk to someone, do you prefer to text instead of call? Oh, is this like for me? Bro, this is like a me thing. Uh, do you prefer to text instead of call? Uh, I mean, it depends. I'm not against talking on the phone. So I guess maybe not. You sometimes have tinnitus. I don't know what that is. What's tinnitus? Condition when a person hears a ringing sound or a different variety of sounds when no corresponding external sound is present and that other people cannot hear. Oh, okay. So, no. Have you ever felt someone's eyes on you and turned around? Wait. Is this for me or is this for him? Alright, I'm saving this. I gotta save it now. Now I'm starting to think that it's for him and not me. Like I can't think of it in terms of me. I have to think about it in like terms of him. When you talk to someone, do you prefer to text instead of call? I would say yes. Can I take it back? I can take it back. Do you sometimes have tinnitus? There was that one time. Have you ever felt someone's eyes on you and turned around? Yes, he has. Do stationary objects sometimes seem to be moving toward you? Have we had that? I don't think. I don't think I ever noticed something like that. Moving toward you. Have you ever had a premonition that turned out to be right? Oh, God. Yes. Have you ever checked a digital clock and seen the same numbers repeat? Shit, man. I don't know. I'm not even sure. I don't think I noticed anything like that. Have you cried within the last month? Yeah. Can you masturbate just using your imagination? I'm gonna say no. Probably not. Can you stay focused on just one mental image when masturbating? Uh, Maybe he could. I don't know. Can you fantasize about something with your eyes open? I feel like he does that all the time. Does the front of an automobile ever look like a face? Well, I mean, sure. Do you have difficulty going to the bathroom after watching a horror movie? Well, I don't know. Not a fan of haunted houses? Probably he's not. When you start reading a book, do you lose track of time and immerse yourself? I'm gonna say no for him. Do you think aliens are real? He has no interest in 3D. So, when you look at your horoscope, is it always right? He doesn't look at his horoscope. Do you get motion sickness easily? Now I'm confused again. Is this for me or is this for him? I'm gonna do it like it was him, or I'm gonna try to. Do you get motion sickness easily? I have no clue if he does. I'm gonna say no. Do you think God exists? I mean, he's literally said that he thinks God is gazing at him. So probably. You have a sixth sense. The gaze? Maybe? You dream in full color? Oh, he was dreaming in full color. When you're asleep, do you ever understand that you're dreaming? No. He had no idea he was dreaming. Have you experienced partial memory loss? Yes. You have trouble making eye contact with others? Yes. Does the sight of a lemon make your mouth full of saliva? When other people yawn, do you yawn too? Probably. He's not usually around people though, so maybe I'll just say no. I'm gonna go with this. Let's just go with that.
はい、お疲れ様でした。
When I checked off the last few questions, Hazuki spoke to me before I had a chance to say anything to her. I'd been really embarrassed having her watch me the whole time. Maybe my face had been red. I quietly handed over the worksheet, trying not to look at her face. I hadn't had time to write my symptoms on the back.
それでは待合室でお待ちください。お薬が出てますから。
薬
Meds. I was getting some kind of prescription? The doctor hadn't said a word about that.
ええ、先生の指示で。弱い精神安定剤です。ぐっすり眠れるようになるし、副作用などもありませんよ。
Woohoo! Thanks, Doc. I was appreciative, but also the thought of waiting in that lobby again made me feel miserable. No complaining. Alright, I'm gonna end it here. That's the, yeah, we're gonna end it here. That's it for now. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. What the hell? Like, what in the hell was that? I really thought that I can't, that's the third time. Well, more like the second time. Where I picked green and it ended up being really psychotic. The first psychotic one was with his sister. The second one was with Yua, but that was definitely some kind of crazy. But it wasn't like this latest one. What the fuck do you mean? And he was calling it a naughty dream. And he said his libido. Like, what part? What part of that? We haven't learned anything. That's what's so crazy. We have not learned fucking anything that whole time. Nothing. Just two psychotic delusions. Bro, this game is something else. It makes me so it makes me skeevy. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Holy shit. That was something. That was insane. Ugh. Okay. We're done. We're done for now. Whatever the fuck this game is, man. Holy shit. Thanks guys for hanging out. Really appreciate you. I hope to see y'all again in the next one. And until then, peace out. Bye.